Su Xing actually did not want to join in such a feast, but he could not feel at ease about Bao Xiaoyu and still wanted to hear about their affairs. He glanced at Wu Xinjie and the others and nodded, then deference is no substitute for obedience. Heavenly Water Pavilion. Those that came from the Han clan were about a dozen. Other than one cultivator, the others were normal people. This made Su Xing feel very surprised. It was known that many cultivators longed for the Crystal Dragon banquet but were unable to step forward. The reason was because the Eastern Sea's depths were very deep, which was not something they were capable of walking into. Wu Xinjie saw that the Han clan was rather influential and wealthy. The Azure Dragon territory's 10 great families at their core were merchant aristocratic families. For example, the Han clan often came to do business, so they had a foundation in the Crystal Dragon Palace. For the Crystal Dragon Palace to cultivate linked teleportation arrays was not strange. Han Qi was a galaxy middle stage cultivator. Han Yu introduced his master as being from the Most High Path. Most High Path? Hearing this name, Su Xing's brows wrinkled. Currently, he did not feel great about the Most High Path. Congratulations, Han Qi, your spirit slashing sword has entered the spirit sealing list at 98th. Haha, you truly bring honor to our ancestors. Han Yu's grandfather happily said. His expression was very good. Other than a star master that the Han clan had produced, they had even put a prehistoric spirit treasure onto the spirit sealing list. This truly was a once-in-a-century fortune for the Han clan. Do not mention it. Some cultivator brought out a 5 dragons lantern and an earth book, pushing the spirit slashing sword down to 100th. Han Qi flatly drunk down his sorrows, his expression downcast. The Han clan's people were slightly awkward. Nephew Han Yu, do you want uncle to give you the spirit slashing sword for your star duels? So as to avoid others saying that our Han clan is destitute, to not even have a magic weapon like this. Han Qi narrowed his eyes. It was ambiguous whether these words were mockery or genuine. Han Yu shook his head like a drum rattle. This is... Han Qi noticed Su Xing suddenly, his expression greatly changed. His entire person immediately shuddered, and he became submissive, instantly turning his dejection just now into a deferential salute to Su Xing. The Han clan was bewildered. Senior's presence here truly makes me overwhelmed. Han Qi said. The Han clan elders were smart enough to realize that to make Han Qi this respectful, their guest was a cultivator of profound cultivation. They changed their disapproval from just a moment ago into deference. Su Xing thought this was amusing, but he did not put on any air of arrogance. No need to be so awkward. Han Qi laughed apologetically. A supervoid cultivator was much too mighty and powerful. Just being in proximity of him made him feel choked. The atmosphere was awkward for a time. Su Xing knew that things would turn out like this, but he was thinking of Han Yu's future. Thus, he invited everyone to sit down, and he softly asked, Han Yu is participating in the star duels. You act as Han Yu's elders. I wonder what you feel about this? Heaven helps the worthy. Right, we never imagined that the Han clan could have a star master. This truly honors our ancestors. Yes, yes. Su Xing clearly did not want this answer. Seeing these elders and family were each complacent, their clearly excited feelings showed they treated Han Yu as a tool to exploit. Han Qi noticed Su Xing's displeasure. He fake coughed and interrupted them. The star duels are a matter that requires mutual consent. Everything is arranged according to fate. Nai, to think that Han Yu's father and mother perished, it is fortunate that the heavens love him, thus he luckily survived. The souls of the deceased can also be at peace. Everyone stowed their happy emotions for an instant to slip out sighs. Their sudden face change impressed even Su Xing. He had never seen anyone able to instantly switch from great joy to deep sadness, and then to turn from deep sadness to bemoaning the state of the world. Wu Xinjie forced herself to not laugh. Bao Xiaoyu watched them with pursed lips. The little lowly did not hide the loathing in her eyes at all. Senior cares so much for little Yu's star duels. This truly is little Yu's fortune. Han Qi respectfully said. The beautiful ladies next to Su Xing made Han Qi somewhat skeptical about whether they were star generals or not, but Su Xing's cultivation was already supervoid. The number of supervoid star masters in Liangshan continent could be counted on fingers, and Han Qi knew this. He did not treat Su Xing as a star master, but he did regard him as some adept that had taken a fancy to little Yu. But for little brother Yu to participate in the star duels, this is but certain to be great misfortune with little luck. Wu Xinjie softly said. Since he is participating in the star duels, this is foreordained. Well said. Have you not thought of annulling the contract? How can this be? Han Yu's grandfather and other relatives were somewhat unsightly. And why not? Su Xing did not understand. It was plainly obvious that Han Yu participating in the star duels was certain death. Wasn't annulling their contract splendid? And besides, Han Yu was so little, he honestly was not suited for joining the star duels. Everyone was speechless. What star master would annul their contract? Is this not cowardice? The Han clan will be the subject of ridicule. Han Qi wiped his sweat. Xiaoyu, what do you think? Wu Xinjie directly turned the question over to Bao Xiaoyu. Do you have any interest in following us? Bao Xiaoyu lowered her head in silence. Senior may care for little Yu, but participating in the star duels only to get cold feet truly is a great fear. However, our Han clan cannot be underestimated at all. We came to this treasure banquet with the idea to strengthen Xiaoyu's star weapon. Han Qi hastily said tactfully. He did not want to ruin a relationship with Su Xing, let alone these star duels. Everything follows their causes. We naturally should not meddle, so as to avoid Chao Gai's attention. We better drink for now. Waiter, order. An old man shouted loudly. No need. Su Xing shook his head. He was not in the mood at all to drink. Discussing at the table, he saw that the Han clan had no regard for Han Yu's life or death. They thought only of exploiting his identity as a star master, and he inwardly shook his head. In the end, Bao Xiaoyu said nothing either. Since she had already decided, Su Xing could not easily say anything about that. He found an excuse to dismiss himself. In front of the restaurant's door. Su Xing. Bao Xiaoyu had chased after him. Little Yu was reborn through Xiaoyu's contract. If Xiaoyu annuls the contract, little Yu will die. She explained, not wanting to be seen as a star general that hurt people. I know. Su Xing and the others turned around and smiled. Xiaoyu, if you need anything, come find me anytime. Saying this, he gave her a 1,000-li sound transmission talisman and other protective talismans. If you have truly decided on this, in the future 7 Stars Assembly, let's ascend Maiden Mountain together. Bao Xiaoyu was taken aback. She opened her small mouth, losing her normal ferocity. She pouted and grunted. Xiaoyu will consider it. Then good, little E really wants to see you. Su Xing smiled. Bao Xiaoyu's returned to the Heavenly Water Pavilion with a heavy load on her mind. The Han clan right now was currently discussing spiritedly behind Su Xing's back. Having seen him go far away, they immediately changed faces. Is a supervoid cultivator amazing? It sounds like he actually is. Little Yu, you must not be fooled. A Star Master's status is very important. If you annul your contract, how can you face your parents' deaths? Yes, the star duels are inherently deadly. How can you ever achieve anything by cowering at the slightest thing, let alone that the star duels can leave a mark for generations to come? How many people have begged for a chance like this? Our Han clan can be mighty in the future. Bao Xiaoyu only felt loathing when she heard these words. Just as she was about to open her mouth to curse them, suddenly, a playful voice stole the initiative. Oh, the Han clan indeed has a devotion to that inspires reverence. To leave a mark for generations in the star duels? Dong Myo feels that this is only to let the Han grandfather write down a single line. However, to exploit such a small child, are you not afraid of meeting retribution? The Han clan's faces changed, but seeing that pair of sisters, their tempers instantly were suppressed. The newcomers were twins. Each frown and every smile, every single movement was akin to being in a mirror. However, one's temperament was gentle and quiet while the other was fiery. The Han clan was very familiar with them, the Sikong sisters of one of the Azure Dragon territory's 10 great families. Sikong Chuha and Sikong Dongyo. Little brother Little Yu, Have you never thought of killing these elders? Sikong Dongyo chuckled. The Sikong little sister need not be so derisive. A purple thunder monster has appeared in these star duels. You two are perhaps the unfortunate ones. Han Chi calmly said. Speaking of the purple thunder monster, there is something I wanted to ask you all. Sikong Chua calmly said. What is that? Do you know who that man was just now, Han Chi? Sikong Chuha's eyes narrowed. Who? Sikong Chuha coldly grinned. You had best inform your most high path elders. Star position, Savage Star name, Bao Su nickname, God of Death true name, Bao Xiaoyu rank, 60th star weapon, blood-drinking demon killing sword, 4-star, Star Beast, bloodthirsty cult realm, 1000 military's 9th stage innate skill, Frenzy, 2, 5 elements, Fire Yellow rank special move, Long River of blood-drinking dark rank special move, Bloodthirst Earth rank special move, Sword Slaughtering Blue Skies, 3. Current status, Contractor, Hanyu, Detailed materials. Su Xing walked in an alley to avoid the prying ears of others. He flipped through the birth treasure outline. This was information he had received from observing Bao Xiaoyu just now. They surprisingly already have their Earth rank technique. Su Xing was stunned. Subsequently, he laughed in spite of himself. It seemed that he had underestimated God of Death Bao Xiaoyu. To comprehend Earth rank was not strange amidst the fetters of life and death, but her realm being close to 10,000 techniques was somewhat low. Against a martial generals, things were still not hopeful. Young lord, what do we do? Wu Xinjie asked. Xinjie is very fond of little sister Xiaoyu. What do you say? Su Xing asked back. Since they are participating in the star duels, they have an understanding of life and death. Your servant feels that they have already prepared themselves. Lin Yingmei said. These words were a bit heartless, but that was the way things were. And as you say. Su Xing nodded and said nothing more. And that was another astral bag. Shi Yuan nonchalantly walked by, stealing the astral bag without anyone knowing any better. It had been a very long time since the thief star had this kind of feeling. Seeing that sea of people, the thief star's instincts instantly were aroused. Shi Yuan pretended to eye one of the 10 great sects or perhaps an outwardly frivolous young boss. On one side, she gratified herself by stealing from right under their noses, and on the other, she avenged her previous grievances. Who let these idiot cultivators face Su Xing with their eyes closed. Even a supercluster ancestor was unable to perceive Shi Yuan's superb hand techniques. Before she knew it, she had several dozen astral bags. Shi Yuan was currently scoping her next target when suddenly, a red-haired man wearing red robes entered her field of view. He appeared very wealthy and noble yet not frivolous at all apparently, but there was a woman currently walking together with that man. That woman seemed to be some Lingdong countess. Shi Yuan had heard Wu Xinjie mention her before, that she was somewhat hostile to Su Xing. Never mind, in short, they were the enemy. Shi Yuan's eyes narrowed, and she leisurely walked over. Elder brother Futu, you must help me take revenge. Lingdong Countess Yi Lingxi shook Yi Futu's arms persistently like a spoiled child. That's Su Xing, correct? The man that little sister Han Yan actually fancies? Yi Futu thoughtfully asked. Yes, he truly is loathsome to death, to unexpectedly trick me. The humiliation of that day was still bright on her mind. Yi Lingxi truly itched to flay Su Xing's flesh from his bones, but she was unable to defeat him. She could only stifle it in her heart, pushing nails into that scarecrow every day. For this treasure banquet, Yi Futu suddenly returned, which made the entire Yi clan overjoyed. Not only did Yi Futu's cultivation skyrocket to supercluster late-stage peak, he even had good fortune. This made Yi Lingxi spot her hope. Thus, upon coming to the treasure banquet, she wound herself around Yi Futu to make him avenge her. She thought that Zhao Hanyan's man definitely would appear at this treasure banquet. Elder brother, you must help little sister settle this grudge. This was your own fault. Who let you make that bet? Yi Futu shook his head, not at all willing to involve himself in this kind of love affair. However, for Zhao Hanyan to have a man she took to her liking was actually very surprising. Elder brother Fuyu, were you not very fond of Zhao Hanyan in the past? What if you defeat him? This can prove that the Ling Yan princess eyesight truly is blunt. Yi Lingxi threw a tantrum. Yi Fuda smiled. Fine then. We shall see later. Big brother, you must keep your promise. As brother and sister strolled, a fragrant wind blew by. Yi Lingxi was still talking and smiling. After taking several steps, Yi Fudu suddenly halted his pace and spun around in shock. Immediately his warm expression sunk. This turnaround startled Yi Lingxi. She had never seen her elder brother with such a terrifying expression. Bing Xin! Yi Fuda shouted. A white shadow quickly flashed by in front of Yi Lingxi's stupefied expression. Elder brother! You go back first, elder brother has some matters to take care of. Yi Futu regained his warmth and slightly smiled. Huh! Shi Yuan grasped the astral bag in her hand, shocked. The bag was embroidered with a flower pattern inlaid with astral stones. Among them, there was even an array that made Shi Yuan temporarily unable to see what was inside the bag, but seeing the level of magnificence of the astral bag, it was clearly very precious. This young lady will go back and have elder sister Lianxin break the array. Just as Shi Yuan planned this, an ice-cold chill suddenly came from behind her. Thief Star Flea on a drum did not even need to think. She activated wind, chasing shadow hiding and vanished into the crowd. Not a single cultivator noticed this strange disappearing act. Stealth magic, not bad? Shi Yuan heard a seeming laugh, shocking her. She turned her head to look. That graceful, white and silver-armored young girl with long hair had unexpectedly detected her. Whoa, that is truly interesting. It has been a very long time since this young lady encountered this challenging feeling. Let this young lady see just how long you can keep up. Shi Yuan muttered to herself. She had heard the Crystal Dragon Palace did not permit fighting anyways, so Shi Yuan was not afraid. She suddenly accelerated, and her figure dispersed. Her body techniques immediately were a whirlwind. In practically the moment of a single breath, she had shaken loose the white shadow behind her. The girl snorted. Her footwork was extremely swift, her body techniques nimble. Traveling all over the Crystal Dragon Palace, one flash movement scuttled into a side alleyway, letting out an astonished voice. In terms of speed and stealth, Hao Bingxin naturally could not compare to the Thief Star's wind-chasing shadow hiding, but the wood dog of Well's lion-like sense of smell had its own special traits. The girl's sense of balance was superb. Even when flying through the most narrow alleys, she could tread as if on solid ground. Absolutely silent, she rounded the corner only to suddenly find a person. She faced an aggressive locomotive, and the pedestrians were frightened stiff. Hao Bingxin moved, climbing onto the walls. Like a white steed flitting by, she squeezed through the narrowest gaps between the crowd. Her counterparts were instantly paralyzed, their gaze full of fright and disbelief. Hao Bingxin let out a soft chuckle, but she paid them no mind. She leisurely danced, her divine intent expanding, suddenly becoming a genuine lion that caught the scent of its prey. Out of the corner of the eye, she already vaguely saw the shadow of a demoness' long hair. Truly weak. Shi Yuan chuckled. Was she so easily thrown off my trail? That truly is uninteresting. Shi Yuan turned her head back and noticed she could not see the woman pursuing her. She could not detect her suspicious target. This could only mean that that poor soul was already lost somewhere. Maybe I should slow down for her. Shi Yuan muttered. She slowed her pace and deactivated her stealth. Just at this moment, a figure of ice and snow already cut off the path in front of her. That woman dragged a weapon concealed in white snow as she expressionlessly stared at Shi Yuan. That happened to be the Hao Bingxin that Shi Yuan thought she broke away from. Oh ho, are you an elder sister? Shi Yuan's brows rose, eager to test herself. Does she think she can stop me just by obstructing the street? The Thief Star thought this was ridiculous. Just as she was puzzled, she suddenly saw her opponent raise her hand. That ice and snow-covered weapon was pointed directly at her. As expected, she was a star general. Then let's play. Shi Yuan did not concede defeat. The 4-star hoodwinking flying claws appeared on her hands. She once again used wind, chasing shadow hiding, adding even more speed. This kind of style I like. Against a girl whose path she lost track of, the corner of Hao Bingxin's lips curled. She aimed her broadsword and swung. Her sword chi was like a beam of light, drawing a blinding line down the perfectly straight street. She had fully believed she could strike her target and force her to stop, yet the sword chi was uninterrupted. A wave rippled in the air, and the sword chi finally burst. "Where can you run?" Hao Bingxin laughed. "Heh, heh, defeating this young lady is not as simple as you think." Shi Yuan's expression was immediately serious. She subconsciously scanned her surroundings. Evidently, her opponent's senses were considerably formidable. Her stealth arts had been completely seen through. That sword chi had quite a degree of power to have numbed the hoodwinking flying claws. This elder sister is somewhat powerful. Consecutively releasing several sword chi, the sword chi were all caught by Shi Yuan's claws without exception. The two were increasingly near, neither willing to concede defeat. 500 meters, 200 meters, 50 meters, the girls were like black arcs of lightning with no signs of stopping. Hao Bingxin's hand gripped her broadsword and stuck it into the ground, not planning to give way. Her unruffled demeanor made Hao Bingxin feel confused. If Bingxin lets you pass, then Bingxin will have no face. The girl clicked her tongue in praise. She raised her broadsword fully charged. She did not mind using a special move to strike down Shi Yuan. Just when Shi Yuan was about to approach, suddenly, the thief star laughed. When she actually made impact, Hao Bingxin sneered. Just as she was about to use her own strength to brandish her broadsword at the moment of collision, her sword wind swept violently like a hurricane. She was about to cut down Shi Yuan, easily severing her torso. It was how easily the slash sunk in that made Hao Bingxin feel shock. Just in this moment of distraction, the figure of the approaching girl disintegrated like light. This was an illusion. Hao Bingxin regained her senses, flabbergasted. Shi Yuan had unbelievably passed through space to arrive behind her. A talisman broke. Surprisingly, it was a mirror image talisman. Damn it, Bingxin truly has lost face, to have unexpectedly been deceived. Hao Bingxin grit her teeth, immediately pursuing. The pair displayed a chase battle on the streets. This war's direct consequences offended the cultivators here. What sort of place was the treasure banquet? A country that could be said to have everything. Any random cultivator would have high cultivation, and seeing the pair's chase was already disturbing their business, angry curses immediately flew from all directions. Hao Bingxin ignored them. At this moment, someone behind her threw a talisman. She immediately half leaned away. The talisman's released sword light brushed past her body. She really is persistent. Shi Yuan was endlessly impressed. During the chase, she did not forget to pick a few dozen more astral bags along the way. Gradually, Shi Yuan began to feel tired. Finally, the beautiful white figure was gone. Before Shi Yuan could breathe a sigh of relief, she then saw in front of her the fire-red man suddenly complain endlessly, "How is this fair? If I knew before, then this young lady would not have robbed you." Yi Futa's gaze was ice-cold. Deep red flying swords circled around, burning in the air. Shi Yuan knew that she had stepped in some shit, but she did not want to concede defeat. She wanted to seek Su Xing for help, but she felt this was also embarrassing. Just as she was conflicted, she suddenly spied a cool and elegant figure and hastily ran over. Elder Sister Xiao. Wu Xiao was currently looking around leisurely. Compared to needing upgrade materials, Wu Xiao cared more for the strength of the other Star Masters. At this time, she heard a familiar call. Wu Xiao turned her head and noticed the panting Shi Yuan. "What is the matter?" "Yuana. Elder sister, seeing you truly is great." Shi Yuan hid behind Wu Xiao. Wu Xiao lifted her gaze and saw a man walk over. Not long after, an exquisite white-clothed woman also came. Wu Xiao's fists clenched. Her tone was unhappy, for she believed this man had designs on Shi Yuan. When you steal something in the Crystal Dragon Palace, if you are discovered you will be expelled. Your little sister's boldness is truly great. Of course, her hands are truly formidable as well. Yi Futa faintly smiled. Wu Xiao was taken aback. She lowered her head to look at Shi Yuan. Shi Yuan showed a sour face. Wu Xiao did not know whether to laugh or cry. Before, Wu Xiao also hated this kind of thief, but she had a good relationship with Shi Yuan. In front of this man, reprimanding her was impossible. Let alone, Wu Xiao's eyes narrowed. She already noticed her counterpart was a star master. Seeing the ice and snow girl's presence was extraordinary, their status was clearly not low. Return it, Wu Xiao disdainfully said. Shi Yuan was unwilling, but she knew the Crystal Dragon Palace's rules. If he wants it back, then fine, this young lady will return it. Having been found out, this young lady doesn't want it, Shi Yuan said and threw the astral bag back. Yi Fuda caught the astral bag. He inspected and verified it. At this time, seeing Wu Xiao's breathtaking eyes, her silk-like hair, graceful figure, tempting curves and cool elegance, Yi Fuda was slightly astonished. This woman was truly beautiful. Young master? Hao Bingxin stamped her foot in disdain. Wait a moment, Yi Fuda shouted. Wu Xiao turned back, somewhat impatient. You stole something and think you can just walk away. Could there be such a good thing in the world? Yi Fuda's smile was very warm. What else do you want? If you do not want to let your little sister be expelled by the Crystal Dragon Palace, then use your martial force to see who is stronger. If you win, then your servant shall let bygones be bygones. If you lose, then treat this as me voicing my grievances. Yi Fuda raised a seemingly innocuous proposal. It seemed reasonable and fair, with flawless reasoning, but how could Wu Xiao not understand this man's intentions? Clearly he was probing her status. Perfect. Wu Xiao also wanted to know which little sister this man's star general was. On the surface, she said with an uninterested voice, fine. The Crystal Dragon Palace had a sparring area, a place used for cultivators to train. So as not to attract attention, they chose a dueling field. Yi Fuda secretly gave magnificent star Hao Bingxin a look. Will this little sister Xiao not use a weapon? Hao Bingxin brought out the silver snow dragon abyss sword and laughed. Just use your skills. Wu Xiao was cold and detached. Hao Bingxin was somewhat unhappily snorted. She felt that Wu Xiao was underestimating her. Without another word, she swung her broadsword and dashed over. From far away, it seemed that a beam of light had lifted off the ground, instantly forming an attacking dragon, its powerful might hiding the heavens and covering the earth. It was considerably fitting for the devastating atmosphere. Before the person herself arrived, because the powerful hurricane that formed already blew the surrounding air into unsteadiness, even Shi Yuan was slightly unable to keep good footing. Carelessness will lead to suffering. A cold voice echoed. Did she use her strongest strike with her first attack? In Wu Xiao's eyes, this was a bit surprising and a bit praiseworthy. Because she used her most powerful strength from the very beginning, it was difficult to avoid fatigue in the body. Thus, the majority of star generals would first choose to escalate steadily. An earthly star little sister? But against Wu Xiao, Hao Bingxin already settled on the idea to take the initiative. As before, she did not hesitate to wield her power at its strongest. Although her energy appeared to radiate in all directions, at the moment of attack, it nevertheless already concentrated completely on the broadsword. Her body followed her sword. Sword light flashed, and her entire person was already like an arrow, a straight shot. Dark technique. White dragon leaving sword tip. However, with Wu Xiao's realm, the harm's star completely was unmoved. Immediately after her attack drew close, Wu Xiao then moved her figure, suddenly raising a palm. The distance between them seemed to not exist. Apparently when Wu Xiao's palm was raised, a terrifying energy already arrived in front of magnificent star Hao Bingxin. Yi Fuda's face immediately paled. What sort of speed and power is this? White dragon leaving sword tip lifted Wu Xiao's mantle, but it was evaded by the harmed star pilgrim's nimble footwork. Magnificent star Hao Bingxin swung around. It was not apparent at what time she had waved the broadsword again, but after this, countless sword chi swiftly spilled forth. Wu Xiao basically did not retain any thoughts of evasion. Her sole movement was to gently concentrate power into her palm. Bang! Magnificent star Hao Bingxin's assault was like a storm that struck upon Wu Xiao's body. The actual pursuit was actually to launch her attack at the moment there was judgment and commands that made her brain unable to react. The instantaneous movement of this assault speed was beyond description. At the split second she drew near her target, that impact was enough to shred powerful defenses. Furthermore, at the moment of approach, magnificent star Hao Bingxin lifetime of battle experience was fully displayed. Shi Yuan was a bit dumbstruck to watch, for the little sister in front of her was more formidable than she imagined. Yi Fuda did not expect this situation would occur. They had only just begun, with Hao Bingxin using full power, yet her opponent was still indifferent. Suddenly, there was a chill. An ice-cold frost like a dagger whistled as it stabbed. Wu Xiao's palm pushed while her other hand parried the sword tip. Her palms fluttered like butterflies. Magnificent star Hao Bingxin was astonished. The skin over her whole body immediately rose in goosebumps. A bone-chilling cold drilled into her body, and her reaction gradually slowed. She immediately retreated, already assuming a defensive stance, but to her surprise, Wu Xiao did not move a single inch. Seeing the perfectly untouched Wu Xiao, magnificent star Hao Bingxin did not dare believe her eyes. Although her attack was very fierce, but by using the extreme realm that was above her, Wu Xiao evaded the power of each strike with more than enough room to spare. The silver snow dragon abyss sword had ice and snow covering it that greatly obstructed the destined star weapon's power. Hao Bingxin could only believe this now. Your servant warned you to use full power. What insane talk. Hao Bingxin was indignant. Wu Xiao was expressionless. She brandished her palm, and the power in her palm instantly unfolded like a ribbon, soundless, as if it was a gentle drizzle. Devastating cold light immediately covered the skies. The entire hall seemed to suddenly plunge into a cold winter, giving people an indescribable sense of oppression. Following this, just when Hao Bingxin was staring straight ahead, that glaring cold light was like a giant net that covered towards magnificent star Hao Bingxin. Hao Bingxin surprisingly lost even her reactions. She stared as the palm struck. Time instantly slowed. In no more than an instant, things surprisingly seemed to have stopped moving. Fast. She really is too fast. By the time magnificent star Hao Bingxin returned to her senses from the inconceivable scene in front of her, Wu Xiao seemed to have not moved at all. Her deep and starry eyes were like a night sky, glimmering with a breathtaking mystery. 5. Blood stained her whiteness red. Magnificent star Hao Bingxin's heart was thoroughly cold. This proud lion spat blood and was knocked flying. Bingxin. Yi Fuda's heart constricted. Elder sister Xiao is amazing. Shi Yuan was thrilled. This is not over yet. Hao Bingxin panted and used her broadsword to prop herself up. The magnificent star's expression was resolute as a lion, full of spirit. Wu Xiao was silent. Magnificent star Hao Bingxin's hand trembled. The broadsword shed its ice and snow. Although this concealment material could make others unable to see the star weapon's details, it hindered the weapon's usage. Hao Bingxin's hands gripped that abnormally large sword, seemingly a small mountain. Shi Yuan was speechless. Isn't this sword a bit too big? 4-star silver snow dragon abyss sword. So you are magnificent star Hao Siwen. Wu Xiao nodded. Hey! Hao Bingxin raised the broadsword. This time, she had a completely serious expression. Wu Xiao's eyes carried a bit of praise. The corner of her lips curled. Suddenly, her cloak rose, and the harmed star abruptly revolted. The two of them each were at close range, but Wu Xiao's speed was nevertheless swifty beyond reason. Hao Bingxin dodged away, swinging her broadsword. Wu Xiao already leapt into the air, but her movements were super fast. Her legs had stopped for no more than a few seconds on the ground. 6. She clearly knew that if this continued, she would be cut by the broadswords. In midair, she stopped for a moment, as if she was faster than time, and cut back at Hao Bingxin. The magnificent star was already prepared. She stepped back and spun the broadsword around. Her apparently petite body truly possessed amazing strength. The girl was like a windmill as she swung the broadsword. Sword wind severed several strands of Wu Xiao's hair. The harmed star's left leg simultaneously swept, and a powerful wind force rolled over. Hao Bingxin once again blocked, but the astral wind was so powerful it still pushed her back several steps. Bang! Steel clanged about. Hao Bingxin cocked her head, just happening to evade Wu Xiao's punch. Hao Bingxin had already determined the elder sister in front of her was a first-rate heavenly star. With such formidable boxing technique, if she was not the skillful star then she was the harm star. Hao Bingxin became bolder the more they fought. Once excited, she had to reciprocate, and she swung her sword at Wu Xiao. As if she had teleported. Wu Xiao was already a dozen meters away. The sword chi swept over nothing, and Wu Xiao was unhurt. Only Hao Bingxin's body which had cuts could prove that everything just now was not an illusion. Not bad, your speed and reactions are becoming faster and faster. Wu Xiao was quite satisfied. Her manner made Hao Bingxin feel humiliated, as if Wu Xiao had been browsing goods in a store. Magnificent star, a 4 heavenly king. It seems your experience makes you formidable, not one to be underestimated. Wu Xiao looked at an area of her shoulder that had been gouged by the sword chi. Just now, even with her super-fast reflexes, she had still been struck by the sword chi. Although it was a bit of luck, this demonstrated that the girl in front of her indeed was somewhat capable. Hao Bingxin merely giggled. She narrowed her eyes and asserted, "The battle has only just begun, elder sister Xiao." Saying this, codfish gel emerged from her body, spreading a pattern across her body. In a split second, Hao Bingxin's whole body released white light. Her skin became more transparent than snow, more chilling than frost. Su Xing walked into a shop to sit and rest. The Crystal Dragon Palace was honestly too big. The shop was dazzling, a feast for the eyes. As he rested, Su Xing was monitoring cultivators passing by. His gaze searched around to see whether or not he could spot Zhao Hanyan's figure. Not good. Wu Xinjie suddenly felt her brow. What happened? Su Xing, Lining Mei, and Gong Sun Huang looked at her. Gong Sun Zhuqing seems to have already disappeared. Wu Xiao had sensed something just now. The knowledge star had divine strategy, wonderful planning, 7, so it was not odd she could occasionally glean knowledge about the star duels. Her true spirit has dissipated? Su Xing felt this was a bit regretful. Gong Sun Zhuqing actually was a very good girl. Although she was the second overlord, he had a very good impression about her. Wu Xinjie did not know this. She merely wrinkled her brow, generally feeling this was somewhat odd. Her heart seemed to be lodged with a boulder. Back on topic, the third overlord should be here soon. Su Xing thought. The second overlord's trial was already over, and he feared the third overlord should be very imminent. And the third overlord is a bit thorny. Wu Xinjie put away her thoughts. Speaking about the third overlord, her mind and face both were a bit worried. Do you know her identity? Su Xing curiously asked. Xinjie fears they are double assassins. Wu Xinjie muttered. Double assassins? Su Xing was intrigued. Yes, the third overlord's materials actually do not need searching to be easily known. Wu Xinjie shook her head. Is there a reason? Young lord, do you remember that Xinjie once mentioned third watch? Su Xing nodded. His impression of the third watch was very deep. The investigative star unrestrained Mu Hong could combine her heaven, earth and dark techniques into an assassination technique. It could instantly kill the enemy, and if one was targeted by Mu Hong, even a top-notch martial general would be unable to block it. Precisely so in the past star duels at the final phase, assassins always are the first to be disposed of by tacit understanding. The reason for this is because of the third star duels. Wu Xinjie's expression was grim. In the third star duels, Heavenly Sound Valley's fairy Xuanla contracted 2 stars and assassinated her way to the top. Legend says in that generation of star duels, the Heavenly Star 5 Tiger Generals as well as Jade Qilin were all star-fallen by her alone. What? Su Xing was taken aback. They're this strong. Practically no one can block an assassin's sneak attack. Then is His Highness in danger? Gong Sun Huang cocked her head. This is not necessarily true. An assassin is powerful only because they cannot be guarded against. They win by making a surprise move. If we can know beforehand, Mei can easily face them, even if they have a heaven-rank assassination technique. Wu Xinjie smiled. It seems then that the third trial is not martial force, but rather guarding against assassination? Su Xing ruminated. The entrance of the Nine-Dragon Palace onto the scene could be said to be gorgeous. An imperial cart drawn by 9 dragons treading upon red lights rolled over. From 1,000 li away, people could hear a wind that was like a dragon's roar, making cultivators gasp in amazement even from afar. However, other than this heavenly spirit astral treasure, 9 dragons shifting star cart, Shi Jingluan showed nothing ostentatious this time. Inside the cart, Shi Jingluan sat upright and still, poised and elegant. Beside her similarly sat a young woman of classical and picturesque charm. Compared to 9 tattooed dragons Shi Jingluan's nobility, the young woman's simple elegance appeared even more admirable. Qingci, what do you feel about the double sevens of this treasure banquet? Qingci does not believe something like this that can break the rules would exist. Qingci gently shook her head, pensive. Shi Jingluan thought so as well. From the information, apparently this is to counter the purple thunder monster. However, regardless of fact or fiction, we still cannot lower our guard. Perhaps only you and young Lord Tianya can participate in Super Void Banquet. Shi Jingluan cast a sidelong glance at Qingci. She inwardly pondered that Qingci's uprising was truly formidable. Without training any star energy, she had already reached Super Void. A star maiden's innate star energy was unlike a cultivator's that could determine rankings of martial force. Rather, it was used to maintain combat endurance, and this was the reason why star masters were important. However, Shi Jingluan did not care very much at all. Star general battles often were settled in several dozen bouts, or with a heaven, earth, dark, yellow, or with a fatal strike. Her current cultivation was sufficient to handle 100 bouts. But to face against someone like the Purple Thunder Monster, that truly was a full-effort turn. 2. That's Su Xing Star Master, Qingci, just how do you plan to deal with him? Shi Jingluan asked. Qingci hesitated indefinitely. Her calm and graceful expression was a bit flustered upon hearing Su Xing's name. Shi Jingluan had never seen Qingci show such loss of self-control before. Qingci, I certainly feel you are somewhat irresolute. That man is a star master, you must not forget this. Qingci understands, but Su Xing's influence, Jingluan, you know as well that the uprising far surpasses your servant. Even if your servant wanted to, she would be helpless against him. Qingci softly said, so you just accept a compromise? Shi Jingluan's tone carried a trace of harshness. Even so, Qingci, whether your uprising can ascend in the 7 Stars Assembly is still an unknown variable. Even if there are no issues, he is a star master. Sooner or later, you will face each other as enemies. That man's thoughts are cunning. How can you not know this? Su Xing once said to your servant that his aim is to end the star duels, the same as your servant. Qingci was not at all endorsing him. Since this was so, perhaps after ascending Maiden Mountain, they could make a stand against Maiden Mountain at the same time. I definitely do not believe that man. Shi Jingluan tightly pursed her lips. She recalled that man had not only robbed her, he had even extorted her yellow dragon pearls. Towards Su Xing, Shi Jingluan did not have a very favorable impression. If it was not for Qingci hindering her own thinking, Shi Jingluan at that time in the Black Turtle territory would have absolutely turned Su Xing to dust. Could it be that Jingluan does not have faith in the eyesight of Lin Chong and Wu Song? Qingci smiled. These words made Shi Jingluan's heart pained. The majestic star Lin Chong and harm star Wu Song, who had never signed a contract in 1,000 years, surprisingly served the same star master. This was practically unprecedented. In the 8th star duels, the pair had previously worked together to bring about a marvel where they killed all star masters. Indeed, this was a mess of things. Shi Jingluan assessed this. This generation's Lin Chong and Wu Song are merely so. I wonder where that Su Xing came from. If it was not for him, you inevitably would have changed these star duels. Now that man is unfathomable. He is completely without background, as if he had dropped out of the sky. 3. He truly is aggravating to have completely signed Lin Chong and Wu Song away. Otherwise, with their aid, what have our sister's great achievement to worry about? Dropped out of the sky? Qingzi sweetly smiled. What is the matter? Did I say something wrong? Jingluan's words truly are apartment. Your servant has always felt that she had seen Su Xing somewhere before, and now Jingluan's words have reminded your servant. It seems there was that sort of drop from the sky, a fleeting acquaintance. Seeing Qingzi's smile, Shi Jinglin was taken aback. In the end, she shook her head. Qingzi, it seems you have been bewitched by that purple thunder monster. If Qingzi is still unclear about that man, then I do not plan to join your uprising in the end, even if I have to destroy everything. Your servant has her own plan. Qingzi said. Shi Jingluan nodded. Her expression still had a bit of trust. This treasure banquet will have an abundance of precious stones that the Black Turtle territory does not have. This is perfect to allow skillful star jade armed craftsman Jin Qiongyu refine jade as she pleases. After this, by the time our sister's star weapons are upgraded to 5 and 6 star, we will have a good chance against the purple thunder monster. At that time, Qingzi, you must make your decision. Shi Jingluan indifferently said. Qingzi was silent. Back on topic, last time you went to find Dai Chao, I wonder if you were able to find her? I seem to have not seen that little sister. Shi Jingluan curiously asked. She has her own movements in the treasure banquet, so as to avoid drawing attention. She must be playing around right now. This little sister's personality is certainly a bit carefree and unrestrained. Qingzi smiled, a bit eager. Oh. Shi Jingluan's eyes glinted. Intrigued, she said, does it not appear very easy then for Qingzi to convince her to join the uprising? Shi Jingluan was very clear that let alone that the uprising could create a magnificent achievement never before seen in Liangshan continent's history, but in the 9 cycles of the star duels, the majority of star maidens had all been seen. The words, "end the star duels," sounded beautiful, but to make star maidens hand over their own honor rather than simply their belief, that was very difficult. Of course, Shi Jingluan actually was very confident in Qingzi. However, the only reason she did not sign a contract with Qingzi was because she felt that one person in the light and one in the dark was far more advantageous in the star duels. Shi Jingluan had always liked this sort of willow trees make the shade, flowers give the light strategy. To chase this little sister has indeed made Qingzi waste much effort. Fortunately, Qingzi anticipated her movements in advance. Qingzi shall have the other sisters wait along the way. In the end, we will convince her. Qingzi seemed to play things down, but the process was perhaps very complex. Speed Star Magic Traveler Dai Zong's speed was absolute in Liangshan. One would break their legs before catching up to her. However, there was still a Star Master in the past that persistently chased her and finally moved the Speed Star into signing a contract. Once you bring Dai Zong into the fold, our power will increase again. With Dai Zong's speed, we will have nothing to fear of the purple thunder monster's escape technique. Shi Jingluan sneered. By the time of the treasure banquet, we will go our own ways. If you encounter the purple thunder monster, Qingzi, you must not falter. Shi Jingluan reminded. Qingzi grunted. This was considered her response. Elder sister Xiao really is amazing. You beat the magnificent star into utter defeat, to the satisfaction of everyone. Shi Yuan and Wu Xiao walked out of the training hall. The thief star was still reflecting on the battle just now. Shi Yuan was happier than Wu Xiao, who had won. Wu Xiao was not as relaxed as her. As a top-notch martial general, she could sense Hao Bingxin's keenness in battle. The magnificent star has comprehended her Earth rank special move. You must not be fooled by her. Shi Yuan was startled. Earth rank special move? Elder sister is kidding. Although comprehending Earth rank at the current stage was not strange at all, with Shi Yuan having seen Lin Yingmei and the other top-notch star generals comprehend Earth ranks, those were forced out under the pressure of a true Phoenix martial general. Shi Yuan did not feel that apparently doll-like girl from just now would encounter an opponent like a true phoenix realm. Wu Xiao glanced at Shi Yuan, her expression seemingly saying, "Do you feel that your servant would kid around?" Shi Yuan was speechless. That Star Master is supercluster late stage, and the aura about him is very strange. He appears to have experienced a tribulation. Wu Xiao's eyesight was astute. A cheap trick that was as clumsy as a disguised hog eating a tiger was useless against the harm star. With just a glance, she could discern that Yi Fudu's aura was not at all like the mainstream of the Azure Dragon territory. On the contrary, it was full of an ancient presence, as if he had come from the White Tiger territory. If this was the case, then it would be inevitable that the magnificent star would comprehend her Earth rank. That little sister is truly sly, to have Earth rank yet surprisingly not use it. Was she only probing elder sister Xiao? Shi Yuan said indignantly. Wu Xiao was expressionless. But as if we should care about her. Yuaner has memorized her, and the next time we see her, this young lady will definitely have her know Su Xing's might. Shi Yuan giggled. Yuana, this is the Crystal Dragon Palace. You had better pay attention. Do not cause trouble. Wu Xiao's tone carried a slight elder sister's doting. There are many adepts here, so let us avoid bringing trouble to Lord Husband. Yuana wants to do something too. Shi Yuan scratched her head. Yuana isn't like elder sister, who can protect Su Xing with martial force. Even Su Xing is stronger than this young lady. There's so much stuff in this treasure banquet, and Su Xing has to raise so many elder sisters is very tiring. Yuana wanted to help Su Xing ease the burden. Oh, your methods always were shameless. Wu Xiao shook her head. Elder sister Xiao, relax. As a very professional thief, this young lady will only steal from those that are most destructive and most loathsome, so as to avoid them hurting people. Sophistry. Wu Xiao poked Shi Yuan in gentle anger. Shi Yuan's eyes then straightened. Elder sister Xiao, you look pretty when you smile. You really should smile more. This way, Su Xing will definitely be head over heels for elder sister Xiao. How did you learn Lord Husband's glib tongue? Wu Xiao glared at her. Elder sister Xiao has truly changed a lot. Before, when we first met elder sister had even wanted to kill Su Xing. At that time, Yuana was angry to death and really wanted to fight you to the death. Shi Yuan giggled. Now, elder sister Xiao is so warm, Yuana loves you to death. She intimately hugged Wu Xiao's arm. Have I? Wu Xiao was astonished. The word warm was somewhat distant to her. Su Xing is truly fortunate to have an elder sister as warm as Xiao. Shi Yuan nodded with certainty. She then eagerly asked, however, elder sister, just when will you be willing to sign a contract with Su Xing? As long as you don't sign a contract, Su Xing will always be somewhat uneasy. Elder sister is already husband and wife with Su Xing, why do you not agree to sign a contract? Yuana really doesn't understand. Don't tell me that in reality, elder sister Xiao's heart still doesn't want to give her life to Su Xing? Shi Yuan earnestly asked. Wu Xiao was calm, but from that tranquil expression, Shi Yuan clearly saw that the harm star's heart had already given her life to Su Xing. Seeing she could not glean an answer, Shi Yuan just gave up. When the conditions were right, success would naturally follow. Perhaps elder sister Xiao needed a turning point like she herself did? Shi Yuan remembered the scene from before when she signed a contract with Su Xing, and her heart bubbled forth with warmth. Elder sister Xiao, Yuana will go help Su Xing look for information first. Shi Yuan said. Her black silken figure instantly vanished into the crowd. Wu Xiao stared for a moment. Her white finger teased a lock of black hair that flowed in front of her bosom. As she was thinking, she suddenly heard a warm laugh from beside her. Younger sister Xiao, Wu Xiao turned her head and wrinkled her brow. She saw a tall woman wearing a red cap and flowery dress standing before her. Holy Mother Qixia. Wu Xiao did not have a very favorable impression of Holy Mother Qixia. Although she was her lord husband's nominal elder sister, that was a relationship established on exploitation. Not killing her was already considered good enough, however. Carefully recalling that it was only because of that shifting star image switching mirror she bequeathed that allowed so many things to happen. Wu Xiao nodded. Holy Mother Qi Xia knew Wu Xiao's temperament and was not offended, but in her eyes was a bit of restrained fear. Is Brother Su Xing not present? Do you have business to seek with Lord Husband? Wu Xiao calmly asked. This one has heard you have met with trouble in the Azure Dragon territory. If you are willing, you can come to Mount Danxia anytime. Holy Mother Qi Xia phrased her words deliberately. The other Mount Danxia disciples had never seen their holy mothers so careful. Their hearts were thoroughly shocked as they gazed at Wu Xiao with a bit of disdain. Wu Xiao's brows wrinkled. Evidently, she wondered what this Holy Mother Qi Xia was planning. This one only wishes to help you kill Lady Snake Scorpion. Holy Mother Qi Xia, her tone full of a certain bitterness. As it turned out, Mount Danxia's Star Master Chu He and her Star General 48th ranked Star General Golden Wings brushing against the clouds O Xiaoming, O Peng, had been killed by Lady Snake Scorpion in a star duel. As far as Chu He was considered, Holy Mother Qi Xia had always been very concerned for her, but she never thought that Lady Snake Scorpion would use a goo poison to take Chu He's life, making the girl exit the stage in this fashion. Golden wings brushing against the clouds O Peng. Wu Xiao was relatively surprised. In her recollection, she was a very fast and bold earthly star. She used a golden-tipped sky-soaring lance and a Garuda arrow, with martial arts that were considered very good for an earthly star. She was first-rate with hidden weapons, but Wu Xiao did not think that Lady Snake Scorpion already had her in her palm. Is that so? Your servant shall inform Lord Husband to be careful. Wu Xiao declined to comment. If brother and sister are willing, Mount Danxia is still very welcoming to little brother and little sister. Speaking some more, upon seeing that Wu Xiao was not too interested in chatting, Holy Mother Qi Xia could not easily say anything more and then left. Wu Xiao looked at Holy Mother Qi Xia's back. She immediately turned around and left. Holy Mother, why did you tell Wu Song this? A Danxia disciple could not help but ask. Lady Snake Scorpion is emboldened. With the Rock Demon King's support, only Wu Song and the others can face them now. Holy Mother Qi Xia expressionlessly looked at her. Her expression seemed to want to allow the disciple to ask anything else. Crystal Arrow Pavilion. Su Xing's pace was stopped by the name in front of him. Looking at the outside embellishments made Su Xing recall his time on Earth at the firing range, and the Crystal Arrow Pavilion appeared to be specialized in archery drills. Other than being dazzlingly strange, the Crystal Dragon Palace's other items were also very colorful. Su Xing just happened to be a bit tired from strolling around for so long, so he and Lin Ying Mei discussed and then walked inside. Archers were a very important part of Liangshan continent's armed forces. Although cultivators already could fill the skies with flying swords, some magic weapons, for example the Spirit Sealing Lists ranked 24th and 27th, Sun-Chasing Bow, and Moon-Cold Bow, both required archery. If a cultivator's archery was brilliant, often they could wield those with greater strength. Many cultivators also trained in archery, and of course, other than the Crystal Arrow Pavilion's bows and arrows, there were also flying sword and other training events. Other than training cultivators' shooting technique, speed, and aim, they could also nurture a cultivator's latent reactions. An archery training pavilion like this could only be possessed by the great sex. They were extremely rare in the Azure Dragon territory, and this one from the Crystal Dragon Palace was very famous. This archery range had many arrays and target dummies. Just those dummies were Stardust stage cultivation, with some that could be found having Supercluster stage to train with. To be able to reach this Crystal Arrow Pavilion, most had extraordinary capability. Young Lord, let us take advantage of this opportunity. Why not you teach Xinjie marksmanship? Wu Xinjie's eyes glinted as she happily spoke. Ever since Su Xing gave her silver blade for her protection, Wu Xinjie had never used it. After she comprehended the 8 Gates black gold chain, it saw even less use, but regarding Silver Blade, Wu Xinjie truly treasured it. This was the first personal gift that Su Xing had given her. Even Lin Ying Mei did not have one. Guns were extremely rare in Liangshan continent. Cannons were merely a waste. Among Maiden Mountain's 108-star maidens, only heaven-shaking Thunder Lingjun was a cannoneer, but guns still were very sparingly used. In the view of most cultivators, though firearms were powerful, their expenditures were comparable to magic weapons and flying swords. They simply were existences with dubious worth, and some of Liangshan continent's Heavenly Thunder Cannonball, General Crossing Cannonball, and other warheads were thrown directly. There had never been an idea to load them into a firearm. Wu Xinjie had once seen Su Xing use it desperately to turn the tides. She knew its might, and if she could, it definitely could shock Liangshan in the future. Now, seeing that they had arrived at the Crystal Arrow Pavilion, her heart's restrained thinking once again surged. Su Xing did not hesitate to agree. The Arrow Pavilion was a series of many similar private rooms. Other than privacy, safety was also a big consideration. Arrays would change along with the master of the room. It was quite modernized, and of course, it had a high price. One earthly stage room, low-grade puppet array, cost several million. Seeing these, Su Xing could not help but remember his old world, and his mind was a bit distracted. "Young lord, what are you thinking of?" A sudden voice interrupted his thoughts. Su Xing turned his head back and saw the girl in front of him was a little breathtaking. Wu Xinjie's bright eyes were full of sharpness. Her long hair was already tied behind her back, and her upper body wore a leather vest. The fullness of her breasts was vividly accentuated by the glossy leather. Her lower body wore black skin-tight pants, and the strained material highlighted the curve of her butt. It was just a glance, but it was enough to make him unable to help but go feel her up. Su Xing had once said that while shooting guns, dressing a bit more practically would be easier. He did not expect Wu Xinjie to be so sexy. Those skin-tight curves made Su Xing's lust stir. Heh, has young lord been captivated? Wu Xinjie slightly winked. She hugged Su Xing's arm and acted pampered. That fullness was considerably soft. Concentrate. Firing handguns is but a very serious matter. Su Xing was stern, suddenly feeling what he said about firing handguns was a bit weird. He could not help but smile. Wu Xinjie did not understand what Su Xing was smiling about. She glanced at Lin Yingmei and Gong Sun Huang. Su Xing fake coughed and turned around. "All ready?" Wu Xinjie nodded. Lin Yingmei and Gong Sun Huang were also very curious about Su Xing's magical device, gazing steadily from nearby. Wu Xinjie watched Su Xing fire freely and easily. She had always thought that shooting was very easy. Only when Su Xing taught her every step and procedure to pay attention to did she realize that no matter what she did, there was nothing easy about it. Control your breathing. The best time to shoot the target is when you're holding your breath. Breathing will influence the gun's trembling, which influences accuracy. Su Xing said word by word, "Grasp a target point. Your eyes will need a time period of approximately 3 to 7 seconds to adjust their clarity to the target from scenery. This is the optimum time to fire your gun. If you notice the gun's muzzle is too high, move it forward. Too low, move it backwards. To the right, shift rightwards. And vice versa. Remembering to maintain your body's extension towards the target is also helpful for accuracy. To a beginner, as long as you remember these points, you'll do well. You can't help but be nervous the first time. Your muscles will tense, relax." Su Xing patted Wu Xinjie's butt. The girl bashfully clicked her tongue. Su Xing was expressionless yet kneading the taut muscles of her body. Slowly, Wu Xinjie felt that Su Xing was being serious. Only then did she put away the playful attitude. Su Xing noticed that Wu Xinjie was very quickly entering her zone, quite peaceful, carrying an admiration not easy to perceive. "Now, I'll give you a demonstration." Su Xing raised the gun, inserted a magazine. All of the bullets were normal Heavenly Thunder rounds. He aimed at a target 25 meters away. His divine intent followed his movements, and the array activated. Several dummies suddenly appeared. Bang bang bang. A familiar gunfire. His movements were graceful and easy. From a glance, he showed he was an expert. 12 bullets later, the puppets exploded, completely destroyed. Gong Sun Huang sat on Su Xing's shoulder and blinked. The little loli had never seen Su Xing's shooting appearance, and now, she felt that His Highness truly was handsome. Wu Xinjie said in worship, "Young lord, how long have you practiced this?" "More than 10 years. Su Xing faintly said. He had started shooting handguns ever since he was little. This sort of process was already natural. There's no need to be surprised, so long as you grasp the relationship of movement and stillness, you can have practiced control over your accuracy whenever you shoot. Now it's your turn." Wu Xinjie stuck her body onto Su Xing's. The curves of her upraised but were soft and smooth. The girl deliberately rubbed against him, making Su Xing evilly slap her rear. "Be serious." While practicing, Su Xing had never joked around. Wu Xinjie pouted in grievance, feeling that Su Xing was honestly underestimating her talent as the knowledge star. She raised her arm and shut her right eye. Seriousness appeared in her eye. Seeing clearly activated, and the puppets 25 meters away seemed to be right in front of her. She had the extraordinary gift of sight, but maybe not with shooting technique. Continuously firing 5 times, she did not strike a single one of the puppets. If actual battle consequences were to be used, Wu Xinjie currently would have already been torn to pieces by the puppets. Of course, from a beginner's perspective, this result was already sufficiently perfect. Su Xing nodded in satisfaction from the side, coaching Wu Xinjie quickly about her issues. The knowledge star's innate skill seeing clearly and marksmanship were perfectly compatible. Wu Xinjie was also quite talented. He remembered when he first began shooting that he would always be nervous and suddenly pull the trigger, stop his breathing too early, and make other mistakes at the right time. Other than Wu Xinjie indeed being a bit nervous at the beginning, she now slowly adapted. Her shooting standard was outside expectations. Her grip strength on the gun was appropriate, her breathing steady, and especially her expression revealing confidence made Su Xing very impressed. Regardless of what she did, as long as she had this self-confidence, she definitely could achieve it. Shooting had been far more difficult than she had imagined. Wu Xinjie discovered why it was no wonder that Liangshan continent did not favor guns. If one could not reach Su Xing's level of expertise, just aiming, timing, and the like would be very clumsy disadvantages. Typical combat conditions and long-distance shooting technique were indeed 2 separate things. However, Wu Xinjie did not want to concede defeat. Silver Blade was the present Su Xing gave her. To abandon it like this, she was not willing to do so. As Wu Xinjie practiced, Su Xing chatted with Lin Yingmei and Gong Sun Huang. Afterwards, he even passionately kissed Lin Yingmei on the spot. Wu Xinjie could not stand this and jealously said, "Young lord, if you too do this, Xinjie cannot easily shoot." Su Xing chuckled. Shooting has a very important element, and that is interference from the outside world. Try to ignore what's happening on the outside. This way, you can improve your aim. Xinjie, you still don't meet the standard. You have to hit 100 out of 100 shots. To concentrate and ignore distractions is fundamental. Wu Xinjie was speechless. My young lord is honestly too crafty. Next, Su Xing stuck behind Wu Xinjie, instructing her with his hands. On the other hand, this satisfied the knowledge star's slight charm, provoking Wu Xinjie's coquettish glances that were smooth as silk. Of course, using Su Xing's words, this was to train her willpower. Wu Xinjie's progress was lightning fast. Her shooting movements were increasingly fast and precise. Su Xing was very clear that if they were to use Silver Blade to take a dominant position in battle against Liangshan continent's cultivators, other than a surprise attack and cartridge quality, it was quite important that the gunner herself have clear sight. Su Xing suddenly recalled that Earth had sniper rifles that had a range reaching several miles. Even in Liangshan continent, that was an invisible method to kill someone, and sniping was more formidable than some magic weapons. Could Silver Blade develop in this aspect? Although handguns and sniper rifles were worlds apart. However, based on Su Xing's tool refinement experience, this was not impossible. Just as Su Xing was inwardly pondering, there was suddenly a clamor outside the hall. The voices rose and fell in succession, very excited. That woman's bow and arrow are so powerful, to surprisingly kill a supercluster puppet in one strike. Quickly go look. That is a true genius. A star general? Su Xing paused. He looked at Lin Yingmei and Wu Xinjie. Let's go take a look. Hua Wanyue stood in the Crystal Arrow Pavilion's center floating hall. In front of her was a floating plaza with wisps of white smoke. The vapor obscured the plaza, and from time to time, several hundred puppets would appear in the plaza. These puppets were varied in size and charged at her in a flock. The next instant, Hua Wanyue pulled her bow and loosed an arrow. It flit by swift as a meteor. 100 puppets were eliminated in succession. Some were even pierced together into a clump by the arrow. Her archery was breathtaking. Truly worthy of being an elder sister. Your archery is incomparable to have killed 100 puppets in just several seconds. A woman wearing a sinister mask was to the side. Her figure was quite charming, like a developing flower bud. If she was to be judged on figure alone, men would go wild for her, but when some cultivators continued to raise their gaze from her legs up to her face, they would inevitably find an expression that was frightening. That ugly mask that spoiled everything was full of ferocity. By Su Xing's word, he indeed recognized her. Prominent star ugly prince consort Xian Yunshang. Hua Wanyue lowered her arms and took a deep breath. She gracefully brushed away her hair and haughtily said, "Whether it be gold or dirt, bring it out and let Wanyue experience it." In terms of archery, it was obvious that hero star Hua Rong had absolute pride and the qualifications to be arrogant. In arrow or spear, she could not be underestimated by even top-notch martial generals. Against the provocation of the woman in front of her, Hua Wanyue scoffed. Too much conceit will bring trouble. Xian Yunshang smiled, somewhat induced shivers. Yunshang will be very eager to see those beautiful and graceful lips of elder sisters to kiss an ugly beasts. The cultivators watching from the side were dumbstruck, and they grew restless. Star generals making a bet. The hero star? That is the legendary hero star. Wow, such a graceful woman. Not even a princess could compare. Star generals are truly beautiful. And who is this? So ugly? A bet? No way. Su Xing at this time walked over and witnessed this scene. The surroundings were full of cultivators. They were unable to practice archery, and they completely crammed to General Hall. Su Xing was not at all surprised to see Hua Wanyue in the Crystal Arrow Pavilion. Seeing that ugly prince consort was not surprising either, but the strange thing was that the two women appeared quite at odds, incompatible as fire and water. There was a faint scent of gunpowder in the air. But this was not a star duel either. The Crystal Dragon Palace was very strict about fighting. Young Lord. Wu Xinjie came over. What's happening? Su Xing asked her. Young Lord, you absolutely are not able to remember what you did to Hua Wanyue? Wu Xinjie covered her smile. There was a sort of craftiness as if she had gotten payback. Su Xing seemed to see a foxtail sprouting from Wu Xinjie's butt. Su Xing then asked her what was going on. Wu Xinjie answered, saying that the Crystal Arrow Pavilion had a custom. Without using any flying swords, magic weapons, or magic, if a cultivator could kill the most number of puppets in 1 second, they could spend 1 day free of charge in the Crystal Arrow Pavilion, free to expense as they wished. Hua Wanyue felt this challenge was practically custom-made for her. Therefore, the proud hero star naturally did not place it in her eyes. In fact, the Crystal Arrow Pavilion indeed did not have any cultivator that had any qualifications to contest the hero star. Logically, Hua Wanyue created the record number of kills on the puppets, but at this time, that black-clothed demon-masked woman appeared. Anyways, it was not known what she said, probably a provocation or the like, but the two suddenly made a bet for a competition. If Hua Wanyue lost, she would kiss Xian Yunshang's star beast, flower tribute. Hua Wanyue did not even ask what would happen if she won. She just began firing her bow and arrows, thus, Su Xing saw what had just happened. This truly is nonsense. Lin Yingmei furrowed her brow. She gazed at the Xian Yunshang who made this preposterous request with some disdain. It is not strange at all for the ugly prince consort to make such a request. Wu Xinjie thought this was inevitable. Ugly prince consort loved to assail countesses, princesses and the like with obscenities whenever she saw one, and it would be odd for the ugly prince consort to not make such a request in the face of the hero star's graceful temperament. Will Wanyue lose? Su Xing said in a low voice. She absolutely will. Wu Xinjie did not hesitate to answer. Will Wanyue's archery lose to the ugly prince consort? Lin Yingmei was skeptical. Wu Xinjie shook her head. Of course she will not lose in archery, but she will absolutely lose this contest. But the reason was very simple. This was a competition to see who could make the puppets not cross a threshold in a certain amount of time in addition to who could kill the most. Hua Wanyue's archery was unmatched under heaven. Hitting 100 out of 100 shots was inevitable, but she had forgotten that the ugly prince consort's archery was similarly unparalleled. Her continuous volleys with one hand far outclassed Hua Wanyue's fire with ease. In the same amount of time, under similar conditions, in a contest of kill count, Hua Wanyue not losing would perhaps be mercy on the ugly prince consort's part. As expected, the cultivators erupted into a hubbub. From the window, they saw Xian Yunshang's hand hold a black as ink-concealed bow and arrow. The atmosphere stagnated. Suddenly, several dozen puppets flew out. The girl was calm and unhurried. Her hands raised the bow, and with practically lightning speed, bang, she continuously pierced them. Several dozen puppets were cleanly and quickly done away the moment they appeared. Immediately, there was another dozen puppets. This was the first time Su Xing had seen Xian Yunshang's archery, and he was quite impressed. Her archery movements were smooth and easy. Puppets appeared from every direction and were accurately struck, no misses. In the process of shooting, her bow and arrow speed was natural and unforced. Her timing was incomparably perfect, and the arrows that flew out dispersed. Occasionally, multiple arrows fluttered out. Occasionally, there was a continuous barrage. But in the blink of an eye, nearly 100 puppets were destroyed. Hua Wanyue saw Xian Yunshang's archery that reached perfection, and her complexion instantly became unsightly. As Wu Xinjie expected, in the end, Xian Yunshang's kill count far surpassed Hua Wanyue's by more than 100. Elder sister Wanyue, should you not kiss my baby? Xian Yunshang's hand gestured and summoned flower tribute. That grotesque star beast made everyone who looked at it retch. Those men wrung their heads and merely felt this was a waste. Of course, a few mentally dark cultivators were very pleased to see a beauty like Wanyue humiliated. Hua Wanyue was expressionless. No one could see what she was thinking of. Ugly prince consort, I have erred in my judgment. Hua Wanyue nodded and conceded defeat. Elder sister Wanyue has magnanimity. As expected, Yunshang is impressed. Xian Yunshang said. Hua Wanyue walked in front of that ugly star beast, her brows slightly wrinkled. Fortunately, such an embarrassing thing was not seen by that man, which was to her luck. Hua Wanyue wondered what she was doing still thinking of these trifles. She took a deep breath, when just at this moment, a chillingly familiar voice made Hua Wanyue's body shudder. Wait a sec. Everyone was somewhat displeased that such a good atmosphere was broken, and just as they were about to curse, they saw Su Xing. Everyone's faces completely changed, completely losing color. Supervoid cultivator. Every cultivator subconsciously took a step back. Xian Yunshang wrinkled her brow, feeling this man was a bit familiar. Then she spotted Gong Sun Huang and immediately recognized this was Wu Song's man. You again. Su Xing. Hua Wanyue was caught in an awkward situation and really wished to first kill Su Xing then go die herself. Su Xing? What are you thinking of doing? Is the hero saving the beauty? Xian Yunshang coldly said. I do not need him to. Hua Wanyue's words were immediately interrupted by Wu Xinjie. The knowledge star smiled cunningly. Wanyue is but my young lord's wife. If she makes a bet like this, as her lord husband, how can he sit by and watch? Does the world have this logic? Everyone please speak. Those cultivators could only nod in agreement. Please, even if the supervoid cultivator reneged and reversed black and white, they could only agree with him. What are you babbling about? Xian Yunshang was stunned. At the current stage, Wu Xinjie was not worried that Su Xing's identity would be exposed. As for any of those opportunities that could pull Hua Wanyue and Su Xing closer, the Knowledge Star would not miss them. Hua Wanyue was unable to tolerate the Knowledge Star's nonsense, but Wu Xinjie was smart to make Lin Yingmei go bring Hua Wanyue over. Seeing Lin Yingmei, Hua Wanyue's weak spot was instantly hit, and she was unable to speak out. If she saw her sorry appearance, Hua Wanyue felt it was better to pretend to be Su Xing's wife. How is this possible? Xian Yunshang's tone was grave, but she appropriately laughed. Your man has good tricks, to be able to have Wu Song, Lin Chong and even obtain Hua Rong. But today, I will have his wife kiss your servant's flower tribute. Could it be that you are prepared to renounce your honor, to go back on your word, Hero Star? Hua Wanyue grit her teeth. Who said anything about reneging? Su Xing at this time knew to stand out. He coldly looked at Xian Yunshang and said, Your servant can always take the place of my wife, correct? Are you saying you can break your servant's record? Xian Yunshang jeered. Exactly. Su Xing was cold. Ha 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 ha. Shuang Yunshang laughed out loud, honestly not understanding him. The other cultivators felt that Su Xing was mad. The continuous fire archery that Xian Yunshang exhibited just now was absolutely astonishing. Even a blind person could tell the ugly prince consort's status. Afraid. Su Xing smiled. That malevolent mask appeared even more evil. Fine, if you lose, I want all your wives present to deep kiss your servant's flower tribute. Do you dare? How do you girls feel? Su Xing turned his head back and grinned. Wu Xinjie was a bit dumbstruck. To be frank, her heart was still perturbed. That was the ugly prince consort, an adept at rapid-fire arrows. She did not feel that Su Xing could win. You are mad, there is no need to do such a thing for me. Hua Wanyue did not wish to allow Lin Yingmei to suffer humiliation, and she immediately shouted. Your servant agrees. Lin Yingmei bluntly answered, not saying another word. Gong Sun Huang also nodded. The two girls were very strong in their belief of Su Xing, then Xinjie shall also agree. Wu Xinjie said to Xian Yunshang, however, if we win, what shall be the price you pay? Whatever. No need for a whatever. You shall take off your mask and deep kiss our young lord. What? Xian Yunshang's pupils shrunk. Scared. Wu Xinjie giggled, like a cunning fox. Xinjie, no need for that. Su Xing shook his head. Young lord, she has insulted your wives, making her direct kiss is letting her off. Wu Xinjie pouted. What, Xian Yunshang, do you only dare talk big? Fine. Xian Yunshang spat out the one word. Her eyes were full of sharpness, like a cold knife, but regardless, her pride was similar to Hero Star Hua Rong's. The ugly prince consort was very confident in her archery, and she did not believe that a star master could outdo her. This is a matter between star generals. If you do not wish to be destroyed, then you had best leave. Wu Xinjie giggled. She suddenly waved her hand. The nine-tailed spirit fox Hua Shui released dazzling light mind image to make everyone leave. The place instantly was quiet. If you have the ability, then let your servant see. If you actually win, Xian Yunshang shall honor her word. Xian Yunshang's voice was cold. I will not use a bow and arrow. This should suffice? Su Xing flashed silver blade. A firearm. Xian Yunshang softly snorted. The Crystal Arrow Pavilion's rules indeed allowed firearms, but although this firearm was quick, because one was unable to touch the projectile, the sense of touch was greatly lost and accuracy greatly reduced. Liangshan Continent's firearms were practically extinct. She never thought that this man would play with this. So long as you use normal fire thunder rounds. Sure. Xian Yunshang showed a mocking smile. She waited to see a joke. Su Xing stood in the air and shut his eyes, recalling that long-distance sensation. At high speeds to make even faster decisions. To give the illusion that time had stopped. Following a boom, the array activated. When Su Xing opened his eyes, his pupils were clear as spring water, his seriousness very intriguing. Xian Yunshang could not believe that a star master was capable of surpassing her. Even the hero star could not compare to her archery. This man was no more powerful than the hero star, and prominent star ugly prince consort firmly believed that Su Xing was no more than a bastard who wanted to enter the limelight. Hua Wanyue, you really found an arrogant man. Shut up. Hua Wanyue shouted. This was the first time her gaze had been drawn by Su Xing. You do not actually believe your man can win, do? Ha. Seeing her so concerned, Xian Yunshang mocked her. But Hua Wanyue's expression began to become astonished. In the end, she was more and more shocked. At the same time, Xian Yunshang heard shocking explosions. The sound was unordinary, and each explosion would destroy several dozen puppets. What was happening? Impossible! Xian Yunshang shouted in astonishment. The scene that appeared before her made the ugly prince consort overwhelmed. Su Xing did not stand outside the hall like she did. Rather, he had put himself in the middle of the array. To a marksman, this was a fatal and stupid distance. Xian Yunshang felt that Su Xing was basically bluffing, and she waited for him to flee with his tail between his legs. At this time more than 24 puppets appeared. Su Xing raised his gun, and with one leg as his axis, rotated 360 degrees. Then each puppet emitted a series of explosive noises as he perfectly fired at practically the same level. Xian Yunshang's body shook. What sort of otherworldly gun technique was this? She had never seen a marksman dare to be so bold. Impossible, I'm possible, I'm possible, I'm possible, I'm possible, I'm possible, I'm possible, I'm possible. Xian Yunshang had practically shouted herself hoarse in her heart, but the result was obvious. Su Xing exploited this method to enormously increase his shooting efficiency, and his 360-degree spins could also make the bullets save time leaving the barrel, a so-called two birds with one stone. Just as how prominent star ugly prince consort had the advantage over the hero star's archery, Su Xing's handgun naturally held an advantage over her. Xian Yunshang was dumb as a wooden chicken. There had never been a firearm so effective. This man's firearm was very formidable. Xian Yunshang drew in a breath. Young lord, you truly are a genius. Wu Xinjie sent him a kiss. Right, a certain little sister, have you finished preparing? She looked at ugly prince consort Xian Yunshang. Flower tribute snorted from nearby, fighting for justice for its mistress, stomping its four hooves. Flower tribute. Xian Yunshang stopped her star beast's impulse. She coldly looked at Su Xing. No wonder Hua Wanyue would fancy you. It appears you are not an idiot. Little sister, are you still unwilling right now? Xian Yunshang grabbed her mask. She hesitated for an instant but still took it off in the end. You are first person to see your servant's true visage. Xian Yunshang lowered her head, somewhat resentful. Su Xing felt perhaps she was this way because she was disfigured. He shook his head to stop this farce. Shuang Yunshang already raised her head. The ugly prince consort was not ugly as he had imagined. In fact, each star maiden was a beauty that could ruin a country. Su Xing was not surprised. The girl's lips were red and her teeth white, and her cheeks a gentle rouge. Her complexion was picturesque with a shapely face. This beauty combined with that alluring figure made for a breathtaking belle. Why would you wear that kind of mask when you are so pretty? Is it only because of the ugly prince consort nickname? Su Xing instinctively asked. He naturally was immune to charm. Xian Yunshang never thought Su Xing would ask this question. You men naturally judge by appearances. Looking at you makes me feel disgusted. Su Xing, you really are incorrigible. Wu Xinjie was somewhat unhappy at the ugly prince consort's unkind words. Xian Yunshang fanned her sleeve and walked over, biting her lip. Hua Wanyue inwardly wrinkled her brow, her heart opposing what was about to happen next. She did not like this sort of coercion. How was that kind of person any different from a man who made threats? Her heart inwardly sighed until she heard Su Xing's refusal. Forget it. Something like a kiss is better left to the person you like, young lord? She had but created such a good opportunity. Xian Yunshang was taken aback. She had never thought this man would answer like this. She looked at his expression. It was completely serious, and in his eyes, she probably basically did not enter his gaze. Suddenly, the ugly prince consort had an unstoppable fury. You dare look down on me? You think that Xian Yunshang will force a kiss? 3. The ugly prince consort suddenly withdrew and fired an arrow. This arrow came very fast and very abrupt. Su Xing already had defenses, and when he gestured with his hand at this moment, a beautiful figure flashed by. Bang! The arrow penetrated into her body, for she had stopped the arrow for Su Xing Wanyue. Su Xing shouted. Mph! Xian Yunshang was stunned again. Originally, she still had doubts, but her heart already believed that the hero star had honestly found this man to be husband and wife. You dare disgrace your servant. In the future, I will definitely not forgive you. She mounted flower tribute and left at high speed. Don't chase. Su Xing stopped Lin Ningmei. Lin Ningmei put down her weapon and walked over. Wanyue, are you all right? Why did you suddenly charge over? I already had a defense. Su Xing chided her. Laying against this man's chest, Hua Wanyue forcibly propped herself up. I do not want to owe you anything more. She plucked out this arrow. Hua Wanyue's face was pale, each word spoken with cold resolute. I will never pay you back. Although ugly prince consort Xian Yunshang's arrow was sudden, it did not have too much power. Hua Wanyue's life was not in danger. I actually owe you much more. Su Xing's sigh reached the bottom of Hua Wanyue's heart. The hero star's delicate body shivered, and her heart became restless. He wrapped the hero star's wounds. Su Xing prepared to return to the immortal's abode when at this time, a woman as exquisite as water walked daintily over. Is your distinguished self Su Xing? Long Nu? Su Xing was startled. What is the meaning of this? Was there someone disturbing the Crystal Dragon Palace? Long Nu's tone was full of strictness. Nothing at all. Do you have some business with me? Su Xing asked her. He did not remember what relation he had with Long Nu aside from that time she gave him a token. As expected, you are Su Xing. Long Nu looked round at Su Xing's beauties, her eyebrows raised. That astonishment was caught by Su Xing. It appeared his identity had been deduced, but he did not have anything to worry about. Precisely. The banquet token I gave you previously, fellow Su Xing must still remember it? And I must thank you for it. This banquet token will react with any member of the Long clan. If it is an important person, the Crystal Dragon Palace will know beforehand to receive them. Because young Lord Su Xing's was personally given by my daughter, only I can come receive you. I am too unpresentable, please forgive me. No need to mind. The Crystal Dragon Palace has prepared a special palace for young Lord Su to stay in, please follow me. Long Nu posture was leisurely. Her silk fluttered, and her supple but swayed, swinging beautiful tassels. Her agility carried a bit of charm. Su Xing and the girls glanced inquisitively. They recalled that the Crystal Dragon Palace would not play any sort of tricks, so they followed behind her. The Crystal Dragon Palace's halls were numerous. This treasure banquet entertained the heroes of Liangshan Continent's 3 territories. From the Vermilion Bird Territory's 4 mountains to the Azure Dragon Territory's powers and even the Black Turtle Territory's devil cults, all of them were on a list of invitations. Furthermore, these invitations had many levels. For example, only valued guests could make the Crystal Dragon Palace auction off a high-quality item. Coral Palace. This was the palace Su Xing was staying in. Besides him, the palace had other cultivators, but they were all female cultivators. Su Xing felt the sensation was very strange. Regarding this, Long Nu's explanation was that Su Xing's identity is comparatively special. The special adjective referred to Su Xing being the purple thunder monster. To stay in the same place as the 10 great sects, there would eventually be some awkwardness. Female cultivators instead were generally gentle and kind. They would not draw any sort of trouble. You know my identity, why do you still help me? Su Xing asked. Long Nu's feet stopped. She turned her head back and thought for a moment. Long Nu is one of the Crystal Dragon Palace. Although I am a Star Master, I must uphold the Long clan's family teachings at all times and give up my prejudices and maintain neutrality. Long Nu has engraved this into her mind. So long as one is a guest of the Crystal Dragon Palace, I will consider you as a close friend. If only fellow Su could be Long Nu's friend for the time being. N. Su Xing nodded. This Long Nu's honesty and frankness actually made him somewhat surprised. She wanted to say something else but hesitated. Long Nu then said nothing else. The Coral Palace was constructed very beautifully. Coral was piled up and carps could be seen swimming outside the barrier in schools of multicolored fishes rolling about. A pond and moonlight could even be seen in the back flower garden. This could be said to be the work of the gods. At this time, a charming, mature woman walked directly through the corridor. Long Nu. Elder sister. Long Nu deferentially said. This is... Long Nu's elder sister looked at Su Xing with a bewildered expression. This is fellow Su Xing, a guest I have invited. This time, he will auction 1,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Long Nu said, evil-suppressing gem bamboo? Long Nu's elder sister nodded. With evil-suppressing gem bamboo practically extinct these days, a 1,000-year type was not considered a first-rate rare ingredient, but it was considered top quality. To be able to receive such a client, the Crystal Dragon Palace would treat them as a valued guest. However, she was still a bit confused about Su Xing's entrance into the Coral Palace. Although the Coral Palace was not explicitly a female cultivator's palace, it was already commonly understood to be so after such a long time hosting mostly women. Seeing that Su Xing was a super void cultivator, Long Nu's elder sister did not dare show any expression. This fellow has brought multiple wives. They are not suited for other palaces. Long Nu thought, and she gently responded. So this is the case. The Coral Palace is mostly of female cultivators. We ask that Senior Su Xing not blame us, but if Senior Su Xing so wishes, we can prepare a palace for your own use. Long Nu's elder sister inquired. No need. Su Xing shook his head. Then good. A supervoid cultivator's interests were odd, and Long Nu's elder sister could not easily ask anything. Right? This Senior Su Xing, the Crystal Dragon Palace is currently checking the inventory for this auction's materials. In the case of tomorrow, there will be the first crystal banquet. If Senior is willing, you can turn over the evil-suppressing gem bamboo to your servant, draw up a contract with the Dragon Clan, attend this auction and reap the profits? Fine. Su Xing thought this was all right. His divine intent probed into his astral bag, and his expression suddenly became very embarrassed. Fellow Su Xing, what is the matter? Long Nu's elder sister's tone was a bit sour. Oh, Su Xing remembered that he had already sold all of his 1,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. This was embarrassing. Above the East Sea, a black chariot rolled out. A wild laugh resounded in the sky. The cultivators below were each scared witless, showing expressions of fear. Ha 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 ha, so this is the East Sea? Interesting, interesting. This place truly is this Hold Lord's ideal ground. This sea is truly too fine. If we were to encounter the purple thunder monster, he will certainly die without a burial site. Xiangfei, what say you? The man wearing black armor laughed aloud. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had rushed over from the Black Turtle territory. Upon seeing the legendary underwater city of the Crystal Dragon Palace, his heart was somewhat ecstatic. Originally, he had been a bit apprehensive about the treasure banquet. Now it appeared to be a very good opportunity for him. With River Dragon Li Xiangfei's ability to overturn the seas, he absolutely had a chance for victory. Li Xiangfei was a bit powerless. The woman with a noble brow said nothing. She merely swept her gaze over the East Sea. Young master, do not be careless. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming sternly reminded from the side. Ever since the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon entered the Devil Star Palace, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's self-confidence inflated. This made the two girls inwardly shake their heads. This Holy Lord still knows. With the purple thunder monster here, this Holy Lord is not his opponent. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's tone sunk. Fortunately, his mood deflated the moment the purple thunder monster was mentioned. However, the moment the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon recalled he was now the Star Master of the Black Turtle Territory's #1 Devil Star Palace, His heart was ecstatic. It was especially difficult for him to not swell with pride when he saw the great Saint Starkiller he formerly hated to the bone leave the stage. However, there is nothing to worry about. This Holy Lord will soon break through to Supervoid stage. Now that Devil Ancestor Dark Underworld has already promised that if this Holy Lord will put forth full power in the star duels, he will give this Holy Lord the highest Devil Star writ for this treasure banquet. This Holy Lord will definitely make that purple thunder monster know this Holy Lord's might this time. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon ground his teeth. Your servant hears that the Azure Dragon territory has the double sevens. Holy Lord, do not forget. The purple thunder monster has already cemented his infamy in both the Azure Dragon territory and the Black Turtle territory now. He has apparently also offended the Rock Demon King of the Vermilion Bird territory. He has incurred the wrath of 3 territories. This is truly the joke of the world. This purple thunder monster's death is not far off. Although he has that many star generals in the 7 Stars Assembly, can he continue to defy the natural order with the alliance of the 3 territories' Star Masters? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons seemed to already see the scene of his second nemesis be destroyed to the satisfaction of everyone. Young Master must not forget that in the previous star duels, there was the matter of Wu Song and Lin Chong. Fan Ming admonished him about the past star duels that Wu Song and Lin Chong worked together to overturn the entire Liangshan continent's star masters, let alone that purple thunder monster of this generation was even more abnormal. He has so many star generals, their star weapon upgrades will necessarily be very challenging. This Holy Lord does not believe that he can still be like the legend of Wu Song who created a 9-star destined weapon. This was also a reason for Holy Lord of Draconic Demons scoffing. To maintain a star general's contract needed lots of star energy, 2 even more so. Although someone like him could receive substantial star energy from 2 contracts, upholding those contracts was considerably strenuous. Otherwise, he would have already broke through to Supervoid stage. For someone like the Purple Thunder Monster who had contracted more than 10, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon believed that would not be able to hop around for much longer. By the time the Purple Thunder Monster dies, there will be no one who can oppose this Holy Lord in these star duels. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon laughed. Where did this boisterous child come from? To be so arrogant, truly you overestimate your abilities. An ice-cold voice suddenly came from the sky. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon looked. What appeared before him was a grave and stern man dressed in a black robe. His elegance made the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon somewhat envious. Seeing that his cultivation had reached supercluster peak, with green-robed beautiful girl by his side, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon saw his identity with just a glance. Young Master, that is the robe of the lifeless Hall. Li Xiangfei wrinkled her brow. So you are the Black Turtle Territory's frog in the well. Yen Wudao was expressionless. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons' complexion changed. He disdainfully said, "The Azure Dragon Territory Star Master still does not even realize that his death is at hand. The tiny bit player dares to be presumptuous. You are asking to be hit." Featherless Arrow Zhang Biluo opened her hands. The 5-star asking directions to the underworld stones flew around her fingers, flickering with cold, killing intent. She flicked her hand, and the asking directions to the underworld stones shot out. Those stones were extremely fast. They flashed in the air, dazzling the Holy Lord of Draconic Demons' eyes. Fan Ming's claws blocked. The thud of the asking directions to the underworld stones brushed past Holy Lord of Draconic Demons' cheeks, drawing a line of blood. A lesson well taught. Yen Wudao smiled. Bastard. Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was furious. Xiang Ming'e, kill this man, make him realize the power of my Devil Star Palace. The 9 Phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon swords manifested black clouds. Ghostly wailing on the seas raised a wretched cold wind. The other cultivators on the ocean immediately fled, the color draining from their faces. From afar, it seemed that the star duel between 2 great star masters bode ill for them. The lifeless Hall could not easily interfere with a star duel and spectated from the side. Star duel in your company. How could Yen Wudao concede defeat? 99 coping with undergoing rebirth swords similarly whistled out. Their sword tips displayed black lights that rolled onwards to battle against Holy Lord of Draconic Demons 9 Phantasms 10 Banes Capital Demon Swords. Longevity Star River Dragon Li Xiangfei and correct Star Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming was inwardly indignant that they had to take action in the Azure Dragon territory when they had just come for the treasure banquet. At this moment, they had no choice but to enter battle. Li Xiangfei brought out the White Knight Dragon Carving Lance to roll the seas. The ocean water rolled, and a sea dragon rocketed into the sky and pounced directly on Zhang Biluo. Watch this. Fan Ming grimly attacked. A demonic chi whistled, rolling over. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon indeed had an arrogant advantage. 2 great star generals facing 1 star master was an advantage, let alone that his cultivation was not lower than Yen Wudao's. His cultivated demon swords were also superb. Add on that he had the support of the Devil Star Palace behind him, his self-confidence was absolute. But he had still underestimated Yen Wudao. In the birth treasure outlined so long ago, Yen Wudao had once slain demon beasts by himself to train his martial arts. Ever since the star duels began, Yen Wudao had never been complacent. Because he knew his own star general was the king of hidden weapons, as the star master he necessarily had to receive talent to in martial force to make up for her weaknesses. Yen Wudao was aware that against a sword cultivator of a similar level he had a chance, but against a star general he still had none. The next moment, Yen Wudao's escape technique activated. He raised the 6 paths plate to first trap Li Xiangfei, and then his silhouette flashed away. Instantly an explosion burst in the air. Yen Wudao already vanished without a trace, launching a sneak attack. Fan Ming's brows rose and she sneered. Fan Ming did not hesitate to turn around and swing her claws. Demon King of Chaos clearly knew that regardless of how fast he was, his ultimate goal was only to injure, and to injure he definitely would come to her side. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming's judgment was indeed extraordinary. From nearly the first moment Yen Wudao took action, the girl had seen through Yen Wudao's plan. A whip-like shadow appeared from her claws instantly, covering all of the space behind her. A powerful shadow that seemed to break space fiercely tore at the surface, severing her defense. Immediately, the surroundings between the two filled with black clouds, pervasive dust. In the pervasive dust and smoke, Yen Wudao had already broke through her defensive perimeter. At the same time, Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming's attack also launched. The double claws of glittering black shadows were like the talons of a death god, full of a murderous aura. Without any misgivings about the attacking tip behind him, Yen Wudao put strength to his legs. Suddenly, the space he tread on once again shattered. Borrowing the force of this, he suddenly leapt high into the air, drawing a beautiful arc immediately afterwards. He swung his sword directly at Fan Ming's neck. His movements were crisp and clean, swift as lightning. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming lifted her head, using one claw to act as an obstruction. A metallic clang. Go! Yen Wudao chanted. The 99 coping with undergoing rebirth swords launched. Powerful sword chi flocked out. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming's pace could not help but step backwards. Just as she retreated, her footsteps turned, and she once again vanished into a black shadow. Yen Wudao drew a sharp breath. The girl's disappearance did not cause Yen Wudao alarm at all. Yen Wudao's figure moved. The 6 paths plate raised a black light, and at this moment, Yen Wudao's figure crouched low, once again suddenly pulling long and thin. The air filled with a sharp whistle. Yen Wudao instantly reached frightening speeds, suddenly raising a storm on the seas. As the dust dispersed, Yen Wudao's figure suddenly pierced through. He suddenly found where Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming was hiding and attacked. A hand wearing a black glove already suddenly probed out, pushing towards the figure in front. There was another terrifying clash. If it could be said that the crack between the two was a confrontation of pure speed, then this one was a merciless battle. Power then became the most important, enough to settle the crux of life and death. This was a matter that could not be judged with by relying on experience, because beforehand, Yan Wudao had practically never met with a chance to do battle against a star general. Did you think you had contracted Lin Chong? Fan Ming sneered and used her yellow technique. Your servant has but contracted featherless arrow. Yan Wudao's 6 paths plate blocked, and he spat blood. Fan Ming froze. Suddenly, there was a shrill whistle. 8 crystalline green stones appeared in the surroundings, fluctuating like an odd array. Zhang Biluo was ready. She wrinkled her adorable nose. If you hurt Wudao, die. Dark rank hidden weapon. Hell has no road. Fan Ming screamed. She was immediately heavily injured. Ming'e. When the Holy Lord of Draconic Demons saw that Fan Ming had been injured by Zhang Qing's hidden weapons, his heart was furious. The 9 Phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon sword became demonic shadows that pounced down with howls, obstructing Yan Wudao's flying swords. Featherless arrow Zhang Qing pursed her lips. She raised her white hand, and the hidden weapons then whooshed over. Zhang Qing recognized herself as the king of concealed weapons. Among all of Maiden Mountain sisters, she alone was the champion, and even the 5 Tigers generals needed to be vigilant. Against Demon King of Chaos, Zhang Biluo was completely unafraid. Demon King of Chaos Fan Rui continuously suffered through several underworld stones, and her injuries became even more severe. Fan Ming's eyes were a through red, and a baleful aura erupted from her black armor. Do not look down on your servant, Zhang Qing. Fan Ming roared. She opened her arms, and her star beast, demonic heavenly bat, was a giant black-winged monster bird that appeared similar to a bat. This beast opened its long, blade-like wings and attached itself to Demon King of Chaos back. The demonic heavenly bat let out a shrill screech, releasing a black cloud. Then, wisps of black chi gathered on the 5 chief demons' infernal devil claws. The thin claw tips appeared, and the black chi became a demon. Myriad wisps of cold smoke and thousands of wisps of black chi flew about behind Fan Ming, covering 100 li of the expansive East Sea in a dark cloud. Zhang Biluo paused and she hastily called forth the asking directions to the underworld stones. A devilish sneer. Fan Ming's hands clapped together. That cloud of smoke and black chi instantly launched as 10,000 arrows covering the worlds as it attacked Zhang Biluo. The East Sea's skies instantly plunged into absolute darkness. The dense black chi thoroughly sealed Zhang Qing's escape routes. This was the earth-rank technique that Fan Ming comprehended amidst her dire straits. Soul Flying Sword Dispersal. 2. The black smoke was a sword midway in a transformation into a demon. It was like something that flew out of hell, and each strand of black chi brimmed with consciousness as they roared towards Zhang Biluo. How could Zhang Qing evade this? Careful. Yan Xudao flipped open a talisman. Immediately, the 99 coping with undergoing rebirth swords drew a protective sword array. 88 of the flying swords gathered in a circle, blocking the black chi. The confinement formed a powerful sword array. A dark bridge appeared, and Zhang Bilu did not hesitate to move backwards, sitting upon the green bird. There was the sound of the sky seemingly be ripped apart by a giant hand, startling all the cultivators in 100 li into sheer fright. The soul flying sword dispersal's countless explosions broke with sky-devastating tidal waves. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was delighted. He had never thought that Ming'e would comprehend her earth rank at this time. Just as he was about to shout his joy, thinking that killing Yan Wudao would be a cinch. How could he have expected that when the black smoke faded, that Yan Wudao's hand held the 6 paths plate, unexpectedly withstanding the dark sword array with its protection? Furthermore, they had lost track of Zhang Biluo. Not good. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons' heart was astonished. He heard Li Xiangfi yell, "Holy Lord, be careful." The river dragon swapped to the white knight dragon carving sword, and a white dragon blocked a hidden weapon. In the air, a green shadow hovered. Zhang Biluo had already reappeared. Featherless arrow snorted. She spread her fingers, the asking directions to the underworld stones flowing. Fan Ming lowered her head to look at the wound that a hidden weapon had punched through her chest. She was powerless to reverse the situation and returned to the star nest. To have surprisingly injured Wu Dao, watch this hidden weapon. Zhang Biluo was enraged. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon did not expect Featherless Arrow to be so powerful. His 2-star generals had been suppressed into somewhat sorry figures. He was vexed, and he currently hesitated. Just at this moment, a loud shout came from the horizon. Stop! 4 figures flew over in succession. They were the 4 great law protectors of the Devil Star Palace. Wu Dao, stop for now. Ancestor Longevity said. Only then did Zhang Biluo begrudgingly stow her hidden weapons. Elder Dried Bone, True Lord Heavenly Commandment, Corpse Devil Ruthlessness, this is, let alone that Ancestor Longevity was only Supercluster Peak, he was very experienced. In succession, he called out the names of the Devil Star Palace's 4 great law protectors. Elder Dried Bone was an extremely aged old man, True Lord Heavenly Commandment was a refined and elegant youth, and Corpse Devil Ruthlessness was a cold, sinister man. However, Ancestor Longevity was nevertheless startled to see the last law protector. Ancestor Longevity was already aware of Ming Dai's death, but the Super Void early-stage law protector in front of him wore a black robe over their whole body. There was practically no breath, as if this was a dead person. He is this palace's newest law protector, Fiend Star. 3. Elder Dried Bone narrowed his eyes as he smirked. That Fiend Star still had no presence at all. The Devil Star Palace truly is the Black Turtle Territory's #1 great sect, to have a succession of Super Void cultivators. Ancestor Longevity was inwardly shaking in fear. Ancestor Longevity, you truly are long-lived. We hear that those in the Azure Dragon Territory's encirclement of the Purple Thunder Monster have all died, yet you still escaped. Elder Dried Bone mocked as he stroked his thin mustache. Ancestor Longevity's face was thicker than a fortress wall, otherwise how could he have lived this long? Heaven has shown great care for this ancestor, nothing more. Is that so? Then this treasure banquet is yours? Elder Dried Bone coldly sneered. That path of life and death has not come? This old man had even wanted to take this chance to seek a fight from him. Ancestral Master Life and Death will arrive afterwards. At that time, Elder Dried Bone naturally can find a duel with him then, but be careful later on. Ancestor Longevity retorted. Both sides were a powder keg ready to explode. Ancestral Master? Yen Wu Dao wrinkled his brow. Wu Dao, this treasure banquet is not a star duel. Leave things at this. Elder Dried Bone, what say you? Fine, the lifeless hull truly has an outstanding spine. 5-star featherless arrow, even this old man would have to run away. Ha! Elder Dried Bone declined to comment, his words softened. Although Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was indignant that Zhang Qing killed Mingya, he knew that this place was the domain of the Azure Dragon Territory. At any time, the Azure Dragon Territory's Star Master could take action, and besides, that 5-star featherless arrow was a thorny existence. Without breaking through to Super Void stage, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon did not have the confidence. Besides, Fan Ming's unintended comprehension of her Earth rank technique actually was not considered a total loss. His heart cleared, and his face still had a sneer, maintaining a bit of poise. Li Xiangfei retracted her star weapon with an ice-cold expression. Zhang Biluo pursed her lips. Featherless Arrow had not a single misgiving about these sect cultivators, but Yen Wudao was already without the heart for battle. She could only stand down. Both sides parted on bad terms, making those who had waited expectantly for the spectacular scene of 2 top-notch star masters from great sects greatly disappointed. Su Xing was currently a bit embarrassed. He had forgotten his agreement about the 1,000-year gem bamboo for the Dragon Clan, and all of them had been exchanged for Hun Yangzi's 5-star materials. Now, there was not even the slightest residue. Fellow, you are not about to tell your servant that you do not have your things? This will make things somewhat difficult for the Crystal Dragon Palace. Long Nu's elder sister put on a fake smile. Although their counterpart was a Super Void cultivator, this was the Crystal Dragon Palace's domain. If there actually was someone who bluffed the Crystal Dragon Palace, then they would pay a heavy price. Your servant was not careful and sold the 1,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Su Xing confessed. The smile of Long Nu's elder sister froze. Is fellow jesting? This 1,000-year your servant does not have, but your servant still has a chunk of 10,000 year. Your servant wonders if this would suffice? Long Nu's elder sister was shaken. The whole body of the apathetic Long Nu quivered. 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Long Nu's elder sister nearly screamed. She looked at Su Xing's nonchalant expression as he pulled out that bamboo, and she nearly went mad. This was but the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo that was extinct in Liangshan continent. Even the Crystal Dragon Palace had never auctioned this before in several centuries. Are you truly willing to bring out the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo? The tone of Long Nu's elder sister shook, not daring to believe in such a good thing. This little stalk of evil-suppressing gem bamboo was of no use to Su Xing. The evil-suppressing clear light of the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo could restrain the devil cultivation of the Black Turtle territory, and it was perfect to make the two sides of the Azure Dragon territory and the Black Turtle territory completely incompatible, with nothing to oppose it. The attitude of Long Nu's elder sister immediately became respectful, careful. For fellow Su Xing to believe in the Crystal Dragon Palace truly makes this palace overwhelmed by your favor. We wonder what request fellow may have for this auction? Su Xing indicated the items he wanted on the jade strip. As for how much he could exchange for, there was no need for him to mind. Su Xing still had the life-extending flat peach. Considering that this item was much more maddening than the evil-suppressing gem bamboo, he did not take it out for the time being. He prepared to use it in the treasure banquet as a bargaining chip. This is fellow's palace. In front of a luxurious pavilion, Long Nu stopped. Many thanks. Su Xing cupped his fist. This is something I ought to do. If there is anything you need, feel free to call. You entrusted to this palace the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, so you are this palace's valued guest. Long Nu believed that this was only right. Right, fellow Su Xing, there was something else. I thought that I ought to warn you. Long Nu hesitated for a moment and finally spoke. Everyone looked at her. This 777 rumor has no relation with this palace. If someone thought to use the Crystal Dragon Palace to lure you into a trap, then please be clear about this. Long Nu said earnestly. Su Xing's party showed astonished expressions. What Long Nu said was very tactful, but the meaning within clearly said the 777 was a trap. Why would you tell us this? Is your distinguished self not also a star master? Could it be that this is not a new trap? Wu Xinjie smiled, somewhat unable to see through the girl before her. A ray of light flashed, and Huang Mingrui emerged from the star nest. Long Nu has warned you out of the goodness of her heart. What are these words of yours, guardian of 3 mountains? Huang Exen flapped her lips. Since her identity was already known, Huang Mingrui had no need to hide. Mingrui. Long Nu stopped her grumbling. She calmly gazed at Su Xing. Long Nu merely cannot bear to see my mother's conduct. As a child of Long clan, even in death, we absolutely will not go against the creed of our family. I believe you. Su Xing was honest. Many thanks for your warning, but you can rest easy. As for the 777s, I will seriously consider it. Long Nu knew that it would be very difficult to make Su Xing temporarily dispel his hesitations by saying this, and he might even think she was deliberately making Su Xing renounce the 777s, to allow the 777s to fall into someone else's hands. However, Long Nu did not care at all what Su Xing was thinking. Anyways, she had warned him already about what she should have, and this could be considered a bit of compensation for her mother's conduct and actions. Right? The Most High Path's northern darkness has borrowed 12 connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls from Mother in preparations to capture you. You must be careful. Long Nu turned her head back for one final warning. Only then did she daintily excuse herself. The connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls? The Crystal Dragon Palace has flaunted itself as neutral. It appears that was no more than talk. Hua Wanyue showed slight disdain. Northern Darkness has fish and Long Wanxin have had a friendship, and to lend these connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls, it can be seen that the most high path is indeed at the end of the road. This actually is relieving. Wu Xinjie muttered, not at all surprised that Northern Darkness has fish had borrowed the connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls. What made the knowledge star much more confused was Long Nu's behavior just now. It truly was justice that went against a Star Master's common sense. If young Lord wants to end the star duels and resist Maiden Mountain, perhaps this seventh princess can be of aid. However, Xinjie wonders just whether she is sincere or false. Wu Xinjie felt vexed for the first time at the person's candidness. Legend said that the Crystal Dragon Palace's Long clan would have a leisureless pearl dragon heart. If one could be born with this heart's Long clan blood and meridians, then they inevitably would be a stunning and unhindered genius character. It could not be her, could it? The four-word phrase, night cool as water, could not be more apt to describe night in the Crystal Dragon Palace. Sitting on the courtyard walkway, gazing at the heavens, the sky was a wave of glimmering refraction. The Crystal Dragon Palace's depth was 10,000 li. There was inherently no white light, but because the Crystal Dragon Palace's halls were all constructed from crystals, they could absorb the quintessence of the moon, becoming even more radiant than any other place in Liangshan continent during the night. The Crystal Dragon Palace was immersed in a light blue glow. The surroundings fluctuated with a multitude of auroras, and the quintessence of the moon was at the pinnacle of abundance. Countless cultivators of powerful ability and brilliant powers would seize this chance to find suitable ground to cultivate. Even if they did not use it to cultivate, this moon quintessence was very effective for a female cultivator to maintain a youthful appearance. This was one of the Crystal Dragon Palace's most attractive places. The first day of the treasure banquet ended, and Su Xing could be considered to have tasted this Dragon Palace's splendor. After checking into his palace, he struck up a conversation with some girls. Then, when the night turned even deeper, the other beauties gradually began to return. Su Xing greeted each of his wives, and everyone sat in the hall chatting about the things they saw today. A while after, the late one was Thief Star Flea on a drum Shi Yuan. Looks like Yuaner is off playing around again. I'll go look for her. Su Xing was impatient. He prepared to use their star crest to sense her. Just at this moment, Shi Yuan's voice sounded out from outside the door. This young lady has returned. A beautiful figure flashed in. Shi Yuan's face brimmed with a brilliant smile. Clearly, this treasure banquet gave the thief star a plentiful harvest. Yuaner, what were you doing? Wu Xinjie smiled. Why so late? The treasure banquet is so full of people. This young lady just randomly browsed about and snatched up so many astral bags. Shi Yuan giggled. With a flourish of her hand, the table overflowed with multicolored astral bags numbering in the dozens. All of the girls stared dumbstruck. Only then did Su Xing recall that the girl in front of him was none other than the best thief under heaven. Now that she had free time, how could she stay idle? Su Xing had wanted to say something, but he swallowed his words back down. Su Xing, you won't be mad, right? Shi Yuan cautiously said. She was fully aware of Su Xing's personality, and it was different from any Star Master or even any cultivators before. The Star Masters of the past that could contract the Thief Star were eager to allow Flea on a drum to rob the entire world, the more the better. In the past, there was this kind of Star Master that relied on the Thief Star's superb thievery skills to arrive at the Seven Stars Assembly in the end. In actuality, with Su Xing's current situation, to have one person raise more than 10 Star Generals was an impossible mission. Shi Yuan felt that as the best thief under heaven, she ought to do something. Yuaner, what sort of people did you take action against? Su Xing asked. Shi Yuan patted her chest and proudly said, this young lady is but very professional. They were all some repulsive faces, cultivators of corrupt character. Especially the 10 great sects. The punishment fits their crime. Su Xing scratched his head. The 10 great sects he actually had no opinion on. However, try to not do this sort of thing too much, there's no meaning. Wu Xinjie agreed, and those little cultivators do not have anything valuable. To make the thief star rob them, your predecessors will cry." Shi Yuan stuck out her tongue and said that she knew. Su Xing did not want to brush away Shi Yuan's good intentions either. He thereupon opened the astral bags, and dazzling items flew out from inside them. Hua! A large pile of items poured out. Knives, tridents, swords, halberds, bows, arrows, maces, mirrors, whisks, gems and pearls, jade strips and books, banners and pennants, even a pile of breathtaking rare talismans and medicines. There was the faint fluctuation of an auspicious sign. With a glance, these were all exceptional goods. Cultivators that could come to the treasure banquet naturally came prepared. All of the things they brought were much better than normal. However, as far as the already supervoid stage Su Xing was concerned, these things were not worth looking at. Actually, several ghost soul pearls made Su Xing too intrigued. He currently had 3 ghost soul pearls. With 9 ghost soul pearls, he could refine 9 infants level nether ability. Su Xing currently was worried about this. Using the ghost soul pearls to cultivate and then using other things afterwards, perhaps he could take up that ghost's god's bane. Regarding that ghost's god's bane, Su Xing always could not forget about it, but the accumulated yin energy was too heavy, and Su Xing was unable to endure. Ah! The reclusive solitary star Tang Lianxin suddenly shouted. "What's the matter, Lianxin?" Su Xing asked with concern. "Elder brother." Tang Lianxin pointed to one item on the table, her tone slightly shaking. Su Xing had never seen Tang Lianxin like this. His expression changed, and he looked at what she indicated. Under some talismans was a glaze-like multicolored shard. It was somewhat pretty. He seemed to have seen this shard somewhere before. Su Xing thought carefully and recalled that when he was originally at the spider cave, he had found one piece from a cultivator. Su Xing took it out and compared. The style and luster were practically the same. The colored glass twinkled with stars, appearing very beautiful in the night. "Elder brother also has another shard?" Tang Lianxin said in shock. "What is it?" Su Xing curiously asked. When he uttered these words, all of wives stared oddly at him. "Did I say something wrong?" Su Xing wiped his sweat. Hua Wanyue pursed her lips. She wanted to laugh. "I truly do not dare believe that the Star Master who contracted the majestic star is surprisingly unable to recognize even a star shard." Star shard. 2. This new noun made Su Xing a bit confused. Wanyue, young lord, is not like other Star Masters. Wu Xinjie helped him out. She was aware that when Su Xing originally contracted Lining Mei, he did not even know about the thing called the star duels. Star shards are used to upgrade star weapons. Tang Lianxin explained. This can be used to upgrade them? This was the first time Su Xing had heard of this. Tang Lianxin nodded. Star shards were very famous in Liangshan continent. As everyone knew, the number of stars on the star weapon of Maiden Mountain's 108 star maidens was extremely important, even enough to settle the course of a star duel. The advancement of a star weapon naturally was the crux of any one star master's chances for victory in a star duel. And to upgrade a star weapon, other than the destined star weapon itself and some requisite spirit sands and spirit stones, there was also 2 other ways. One was the 3 heavenly books of the 4th phase. The other was the star shard. Using a star shard to upgrade a star weapon was very simple. 1 star shard could upgrade by 1 star, 2 by 2 stars, and each star level's fragment would multiply. For example, to ascend to 10 star only required 20 star shards to be enough. Of course, the simplicity of star weapon upgrade with star shards had its own shortcoming, and this was effective time. Not only was a star shard upgraded star weapon even more taxing on a star general's star energy, its manifestation time was very short. However, legend said that a star shard had a certain probability of dropping after a star general's starfall. These shards would scatter over Liangshan continent, enough to count on fingers, so they were very rare. 3 star shards were completely worthless to cultivators, but they were priceless to star masters and star generals. The treasure banquet was called the last banquet for star masters in the star duels. Naturally, there would be cultivators fortunate enough to have obtained a star shard who came to strike it rich. Su Xing counted. In addition to his own star shard, he happened to possess 7 shards. This could allow Wu Xiyo or the other girls temporarily raise their star weapon to level 5. He was still off by 5 to be able to allow Lin Yingmei's star weapon to reach 6 star. If we possess a 7 star before the trial of the 7th overlord Hu Sanyang, this will be of enormous help to dear husband. Bright star Hunyangzi was moved. Before the 7th generation star duels, the highest recorded star weapon was 6 star. If Lin Yingmei reaches 7 star in addition to having them, they completely had no need to fear the overlord. So that is why. Wu Xinjie chuckled. So that is why she should go and steal some more? Su Xing wrinkled his brow, hesitant. This was too contrary to his own values, but he was very clear that being stubborn now would only bring trouble. A strand of hair lay across Hua Wanyue's lips. She seemed to smile, very fond and appreciative of Su Xing's awkward expression. However, what made the hero star disappointed was that Su Xing was not embarrassed for too long. He immediately made a decision. Since these star shards are born from starfalls, isn't using them for an exchange somewhat dirty? Heh, how about this then? Xinjie, you and Yuan ask around if you have time. If there are star shards, take them. If there aren't, return the astral bag to the owner, and then it won't count as stealing. Heh. Hua Wanyue was speechless. This man was quite shameless, to unexpectedly be able to find this kind of proper and righteous excuse. She was unable to retort. Su Xing, you are so sly, so smart. Sure, Yuan happily hugged Su Xing, dancing and gesticulating in joy. To be able to be useful, the girl's heart brimmed with happiness. Qingci and Jin Qiongyu walked through the blue jade corridors of their residence palace. The former currently was discussing the purpose of this trip with jade-armed craftsman Jin Daijian, and killer star Li Longkue was still expressionless, her hidden baleful aura following behind, her footsteps very soft. Qiongyu, what are the chances this time? Qingci gently asked. Relax, elder sister, Qiongyu today shall go to the Heaven East District. There are more precious stones than you can imagine, however, every one of those cultivators are straw bags, unable to refine jade and stones. They cannot see the worth of those gems. Qiongyu has certainty she can buy some. Jin Qiongyu sneered. Lu Fang and Guoshui are at the Earth South District. They should be able to find an abundance of star weapon material. This is good. Qingci slightly nodded her head. This treasure banquet was a major event. Everything needed to be arranged appropriately. For the sake of being able to scale Maiden Mountain in the future, to end the star duels, they could not be careless. However, elder sister, refining those spirit jade will perhaps consume much of elder sister's capital. Although the 9 Dragons Place has done all it can to fully support you, this is still a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. Qiongyu is fully aware that many high-grade star weapon materials have already been turned over to the Crystal Dragon Palace to auction. Over the next few days, many star shards will be sold at auction. Jin Qiongyu wrinkled her brow. By the jade-armed craftsman's calculations, at least 1 trillion liang would be consumed to possibly be able to upgrade the star weapons of the 2 great martial generals Fiery Thunderbolt Qin Mingyue and 9 tattooed dragons Shi Jingluan to 6 star. The other sisters would be at least 5 star. If this could not be done, they did not have good odds against the purple thunder monster. Noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Jin is known as Liangshan's richest. Her capital numbers in the tens of millions. Although she cannot participate in the star duels, regarding the other star masters, she can only use the help the needy for justice method, but elder sister's status is different. Perhaps we can find Chai Jin for a negotiation. In Qionyu's perspective, so long as elder sister shows clear intentions, Chai Jin will definitely join elder sister's uprising. With the noble star's aid, we will be like tigers that grew wings. Then, the purple thunder monsters Lin Chong and Wu Song will certainly regret things. Jin Qionyu's eyes flashed with a stern glare. Qingci has a plan. Qingci tenderly asked. Qiongyu, you seem to be very biased against Su Xing? Of course, he is but our great enemy. In the future star duels, we will inevitably fight each other to the death. Jin Cheongyu was grim. But if his objective is the same as ours? Qingzi continued to ask. Jade-armed craftsman sneered, full of disdain. In her eyes, all star masters exploited them. To think of obtaining the wish, only to treat it as a tool, trust? That was an extremely ridiculous idea. Elder sister, you must not disappoint Cheongyu. Jin Cheongyu sternly said. Qingzi smiled and gently nodded. It was unclear if this was her answer or something else. Walking several steps, the song of a melodious flute suddenly drifted over through the night. Qingzi and the others stopped, showing astonishment. The sound of a flute reverberated through the choral palace, drawn out and winding, occasionally warm as a light breeze, occasionally as smooth as flowing water. The fishes were intoxicated from listening, practically forgetting to swim in the choral palace's surroundings. Even the song of the earth spirits could not compare. The melodious and distant tune made Qingzi feel that she enchanted, so much so that she forgot she was still speaking with Jin Cheongyu. Jin Cheongyu was briefly surprised. She had never seen Qingzi so cultured and poetic. She herself merely felt this was pleasant to listen to, yet she would never investigate why it sounded so good. She said something else and then left. Compared to the song, the sounds of Jade upgrading the star weapons of her sisters was far more pleasant to listen to for the skillful star Jade-armed craftsman. To be able to play out such a heavenly tune, it should be Iron Flute deity Ma Lin. Longkue, let us go pay her a visit. Qingzi showed a bit of curiosity. Although she knew many cultivators resided in the Coral Palace and that there were even star generals who could be future enemies, this tune had a sort of unprecedented airiness that made Qingzi for the first time boldly think of personally listening. The crystal willow trees were like snow. On one tree, a man currently played a flute. That flute was sparkling and translucent. The tune that flew out of the fluttering hole blew up a gentle wind, twisting and coiling about beside the man. A girl bursting with a heroic air was below the tree, her black hair fluttering as she listened to the song, captivated. The player was naturally Su Xing, and the flute in his hand was the destined star weapon Phoenix Cry wind concentrating flute of Iron Flute deity Ma Lin. The jade flute glittered with a luster, and one faint star glimmered like a fairy. The sequence of events leading to this was somewhat long, but after Su Xing finished a night of cultivation, he was compelled by the Dragon Palace's quiet atmosphere to reminisce. Afterwards, he and Lin Yingmei reminisced in the courtyard, chatting about some trifles of the star duels as he rested. Then, Lin Yingmei mentioned Iron Flute deity Ma Lin. This was the first star general that made the majestic star regret killing her. Su Xing knew that the previous majestic star's opponents were often top-notch martial generals. Average sisters were like Jade Qilin Lu Xiao, no need at all to deliver a killing blow. However, after signing a contract, everything would naturally change. Su Xing asked Lin Yingmei whether or not she felt wronged. The answer was a shake of her head. Su Xing smiled. Thereupon, he thought of using Iron Flute deity Ma Xiaoxiao's Phoenix Cry wind concentrating flute to play a tune. Su Xing originally was pretty good at the flute, and this destined star weapon had undergone enchantment. The melody he blew was more cacophonic. That melody's cadence slowly wound around, as if it could make someone place themselves into ancient times. There was emotion, heroism, mystery, intimacy. One song was filled with legend, sublimating that 1,000 years of star duels into its melody, sounding lost. Even Lin Yingmei was engrossed, unable to extricate herself. Suddenly, Lin Yingmei's eyes opened, recovering their clarity. The majestic star's right hand summoned and grabbed her spear as she coldly glared at a corner of the courtyard. A graceful woman who seemed to have come from a painting walked out. Her beauty was indescribable. Since I am obliged by your favor and care, it is good that you are my master. For the cinnabar heaven 10,000 li away, what harm is there in seeking it together? Forever abandoned, bright partner. To avoid others seeing me, move towards the cloudy evening rain. Little Sister Ma Lin's melody is even more moving than the legends say. In your song, your servant heard little sister's laments. Are you helpless? Qingxi lifted her head to gaze at the tree. All of her attention was already drawn in by the figure playing the flute. The player did not answer. Qingxi continued to speak. Does little sister Ma Lin have some other way of thinking about the star duels? Wind rose. The crystal tree's snow flowers perked, falling down in a sprinkle. Gracefully walking over, a figure appeared from the tree's shadow, and Qingxi was stunned. The flute player was not a woman. A man? A man she was familiar with. Qingxi's heart pounded, and her slight smile faded. Qingxi, you flatter me. Su Xing slightly smiled, hopping down from the tree. Young Lord Su Xing, why is it you? Qingxi stared at the jade flute in Su Xing's hand. Her smile was very forced. The phoenix cry wind concentrating flute. It seems little sister Ma Lin has already met her end by young lord's hand? Su Xing heard Qingxi's disappointment in her voice. He vaguely understood, and he responded without changing his expression. My wife and Ma Xiaoxiao were somewhat at an impasse. Today, I was somewhat in the mood to reminisce, and I was unable to help but play a tune on the phoenix cry wind concentrating flute. If I have disturbed Qingxi, then I beg your pardon. Your servant truly did not expect that Lord Su's melody would surprisingly be played so pleasantly for the ears. Your servant was even a bit enraptured. Qingxi's voice was soft. Your servant wonders what this song of Lord Su's is named? I haven't thought of a name yet. Qingxi, the poem you recited just now was named Wild Immortal Pole? 2. Why not name it Wild Immortal Pole then? Su Xing pondered. Wild Immortal Pole. Qingxi muttered. Does Qingxi also live in the Coral Palace? We truly are bound by fate. It just so happens that I have something that I wanted to consult with you, Su Xing said. The Li Longkue to the side could not stand watching any longer. She explosively shouted, her baleful aura swelling, the 4-star bereaved immortal lofty slaughter grasped in her hand. She swung it in a circle before pouncing towards Su Xing, yelling, Do not deceive elder sister. The killer star attacked without so much as another word, and the axe tore a wave of murderous intent that slashed at Su Xing's chest. Longkue, you may not. Qingxi shouted. Regarding the berserk killer star, Su Xing already had a defense. He used the light smoke dance steps body technique, leaning his body to dodge the swing. Li Longkue's expression was violent and menacing, her second horizontal swing aimed at his torso. Her method could be even said to be merciless. If it was before, Su Xing inevitably would cut a sorry figure being occupied with facing this killer star martial general's attack, but the recent training he received was not fake, let alone that he had already experienced battle with true Phoenix Realm overlords. Su Xing was neither rushed nor slow, and he evaded again. Li Longkue's legs straddled, and her body bolted forward, her speed extremely quick. A frightening baleful aura pounced directly at his face. If it was any other supervoid cultivator, just being taken by the killer star's momentum at close range was enough to shake them. Li Longkue lifted the bereaved immortal lofty slaughter and swung left and right. Su Xing flipped into the air, stepping on the axe head in passing, like a dragonfly skimming the water. Su Xing teased her, Longkue, your elder sister wants you to stop, will you still fight? Hey! Li Longkue's eyes were thoroughly red. The bereaved immortal lofty slaughter manifested countless axe shadows, and the billowing murderous aura was even more terrible. Dark rank axe technique? Wild dance of demons and gods? Su Xing's figure swiftly retreated. He was not arrogant enough to personally experience a heavenly star's dark technique. Li Longkue gave chase. Li Kue, do not be savage. Lin Yingmei coldly grinned, suddenly revolting. The Arctic Star Serpent Spear's 5 stars flowed. Lin Yingmei blocked in front of Su Xing, and seeing that spears sweep left and right to suppress Li Longkue, the Pantherhead's ice-cold spearmanship howled like a blizzard. The spear light was sudden. Li Longkue completely did not see it, and she hefted the bereaved immortal lofty slaughter to defend. The 5-star Arctic Star Serpent Spear's might was ample. Each strike forced the killer star back a step. Her spearmanship bolted like a thunderclap, its momentum like a gale. How could Li Longkue be Lin Yingmei's opponent, but after several dozen exchanges, Killer Star Black Whirlwind Li Kuei was unable to oppose her. With a bang, the dense spear tip already pressed against Li Longkuei's soft throat. So long as Lin Yingmei was willing, she could make the Killer Star starfall at any time she wished. "If you dare take another step forward, your servant shall kill you," Lin Yingmei coldly said. Li Longkuei was furious. She felt this was a complete loss. How could she accept blackmail, Longkuei? Qingzi yelled. Only then did this stop the Killer Star. Li Longkuei angrily withdrew to behind Qingzi, but she stared mercilessly at Su Xing, 5-star Arctic Star Serpent Spear. Little sister Yingmei is truly formidable. Qingzi's eyebrows rose. Her birth treasure outline manifested. Extreme Realm 5th stage? Her eyes flashed with astonishment. Su Xing was somewhat pensive when he saw that birth treasure outline. Qingzi apologizes for Longkuei. "We have disturbed Lord Su's elegant mood." Qingzi retracted the book, bowing her body in apology. Little sister Longkuei's temperament is just a bit impulsive, however, she means well for you, Qingzi. Su Xing looked at Li Longkuei and smiled. Qingzi pursed her vermilion lips. She gracefully prepared to leave. Qingzi shall excuse herself for now. "Wait a moment," Su Xing suddenly called. Seeing Li Longkuei's whole body in a vigilant posture stretched taut, he thought to himself that this was amusing. "Does Lord Su have some other matters?" Qingzi said softly. Did Qingzi really like Big Brother's flute just now? Qingzi did not expect that Su Xing would ask this. She slowly nodded, her heart calm. She had thought that was played by Ma Lin. The flute contained every sort of emotion about the star duels. Qingzi could clearly hear that. She had originally thought that Iron Flute deity loathed the star duels, yet she did not expect it was in Su Xing's hands. Could it be he truly planned to end the star duels? Since this wild immortal pull has received the name of Little Sister Qingzi's poem, this is considered our performance, but it isn't complete yet. It's a bit of a pity. Why not let's work together to finish it? Su Xing's eyes turned, somewhat pensive. This, Qingzi was taken aback. Is Little Sister Qingzi unwilling to do me this honor? Wasn't Little Sister Qingzi moved by the song just now? Su Xing knew that their relationship was somewhat not too normal, and he wanted to find this opportunity to get close to her. The man taking the initiative had a chance. Besides, Su Xing felt that Qingzi's status was not like the others. But Qingzi only knows a tune on the guqin. Then that's actually perfect. Su Xing smiled. Elder sister. Li Longkuei voiced her dissatisfaction. Qingzi shook her head. Fine, Qingzi is indeed fond of this song. For Lord Su to not turn his back, your servant is thankful. Afterwards, Qingzi brought out the Bayan zither. She set it along the ground, her slender fingers plucking the strings. Qingzi's skills were like her own person, picturesque and magnificent. With just a pluck, the strings reverberated sweetly, suddenly making Su Xing have a sort of illusion of traveling through time as he filled with warmth. Su Xing suddenly recalled an unforgettable text message he had once received on Earth, and he subconsciously said, Little Sister Qingzi, this qin made me remember a text message. Text message? Lin Yingmei, Qingzi, and Li Longkuei showed confusion. Ahem, it's a very long verse. Su Xing perspired. Your servant wonders what that verse is to be so unforgettable to young lord? Qingzi curiously asked. Su Xing clearly said, 8,000 years before, I was the string you plucked apart. Traveling through time, I bring the lingering warmth of your finger in reincarnation to bond with you. There is nothing lavish, merely ordinary warmth. In passing years, I know that our companionship will last a day longer than eternity. Qingzi merely felt this verse was odd yet full of ambiguity. Young Lord Su Xing, you truly think highly of Qingzi. Qingzi also happens to have a verse to give little sister Ying. Qingzi gazed at Lin Yingmei, her heart moving. She softly recited, 8,000 years before, our dissipated life was in perfect harmony. Wandering through reincarnation, I bring my pledge to meet you again in this life. There is nothing eternal, merely every second of our company. In passing thoughts, I pray that our story will finally end. Lin Yingmei's pupils suddenly contracted. How could Lin Yingmei not hear the meaning of Qingxi's words? Clearly, she was saying that she had come to end the star duels for the sake of the sisters, and the person destined to do so seemed to be her. Su Xing thought, fine, I haven't seduced you yet, but you're actually seducing my wife. His eyes oddly flickered, and he said, Little sister Qingxi is creative as expected, to have unexpectedly responded in an instant. Your servant was inspired. Lord Su is being ridiculous. Qingxi slightly bowed. Su Xing said nothing more. Afterwards, their harmony progressed very smoothly. Qingxi's guqin mastery was at the peak of perfection. Her slim fingers plucked the strings, the sound crisp as a chimed stone, entering the ear, adding a picturesque charm to Su Xing's flute. The originally solemn millennial legendary flute followed the accompaniment of Qingxi's guzheng. In a split second, it was full of an unprecedented happiness, sounding enchanted. The melodious flute echoed in the choral palace. Following the undulations that brought them into the boundless eras, the clear and suave flute reverberated, harmonizing with the guqin. The flute even carried a bit of warmth. Lin Yingmei was lost in the music, and even killer star Li Longkue had a rarely seen calm. In the flute, their minds seemed to have seen this scene. The girls descended from Maiden Mountain, the absolute beauties in the lofty Liangshan continent. They wielded swords, severing Liangshan. They gripped spears, warring everywhere. They who were Maiden Mountain's 108 star maidens. When the song reached its final climax, their figures sublimated into Liangshan's legends and were carved forever into history. The expansive to the extreme music finally left behind a melancholic note. The song ended. A long silence. Even the cold and merciless Li Longkue stared at Su Xing with complete astonishment. Su Xing took a deep breath, storing the phoenix cry wind concentrating flute away. To be able to harmonize with Lord Su for a song, Qingxi is satisfied. It appears that Lord Su has very deep sentiments about the star duels as well. If only in the future 7 Stars Assembly we can still have a chance to be like today. Qingxi sighed and put away the bianchin. Su Xing disagreed. So long as you yourself are willing, how can this be difficult at all? Qingxi smiled yet said nothing. Seeing Qingxi prepare to depart, Su Xing asked, Qingxi, there's something I've always wanted to ask you. Qingxi wonders what that is? Qingxi turned around. Regarding the matter of leader Star Song Jiang, what do you feel? Su Xing gazed at Qingxi's eyes, his expression seemingly like a sword about to stab into that lake-like tranquility. The young girl that was as elegant as China remained unmoved. As usual, the corner of her lips slightly curled. Lord Su, why do you ask this? This generation's leader star, you ought to know her, don't you, Qingxi? Su Xing asked. Your servant does not. Does young Lord Su Xing wish to kill her? Qingxi was still elegant as a poem, but her tone clearly was a little cold. Ever since the star duels began, the leader star protector of righteousness Song Jiang acting as the first rank had always been at the front of the most bitter struggle, the focus of anyone's comments. The head of Maiden Mountain's 108 star maidens was unable to escape the attention of others, and ever since Song Jiang revealed her reputation of incompetence, matters regarding her became the laughingstock of the people. Killing the leader star thus became a matter second only to ascending Maiden Mountain. Therefore, if one could not scale Maiden Mountain, they could still achieve fame in Liangshan continent by killing the star general who was head of the heavenly stars. And the fates of the past Song Jiangs could be said to be miserable. From the head of the heavenly stars down to the last of the earthly stars, they had the experience of being disgraced. The sole exception was the 8th generation of star duels. The 8th generation star duels could be said to have multiple variables. Not only did a 9-star destined weapon Wusong appear in that generation, Song Jiang in the records of that generation apparently had a pleasant journey and even contracted with a sword cultivator. Afterwards, that Song Jiang even brought about an inconceivable variable in the star duels. In the end, She star-released and bestowed all of her star power in its entirety to that sword cultivator. Thus, she star-fell at the same time. This could be said to have shaken Liangshan. When Su Xing mentioned Song Jiang's name, Qingzi subconsciously deduced that he was prying into the leader star's powerful star energy. No, I want to ask Qingzi your views on Song Jiang. Su Xing's expression was serious. Qingzi evidently did not understand why Su Xing would mention the leader star. She thought about it slightly, but her heart was still a bit guarded and said, "What does young lord want to obtain from Qingzi's perspective? This generation's Song Jiang has yet to starfall, but neither have I heard even a trace of her. Qingzi, what do you think? In the star duels of the significance of the head of star generals, Song Jiang? Perhaps she has some ability to not be detected." Qingzi pondered. What ability does little sister Qingzi think that is? Qingzi smiled. Your servant does not know this but wonders what perspective Lord Su has. Qingzi wants to hear it. I feel Song Jiang may be the most important point of the star duels. Su Xing honestly replied. She definitely is concealing some information about Maiden Mountain on her. Perhaps it is something that can change the slaughter of the star duels. Even Lin Yingmei was surprised by his words. The majestic star looked at Su Xing in astonishment. She did not expect that Su Xing would surprisingly was still concerned about the matter of the Song Jiang had never met and the star duels, and her heart was somewhat touched. Qingzi was stunned. Her high brows knitted together into a knot. Why would young lord feel that the incompetent Song Jiang would be the crux of the star duels? Very simple, Nash equilibrium. Su Xing declared. Qingzi was at an even greater loss. That was equilibrium? What the hell? Game theory's famous theory of Nash equilibrium. Suppose there are n participants in a game. Given the strategy of the other players, each player will choose the Nash equilibrium that is most optimal, thus maximizing their own benefit. The strategies of all participants form a combination of strategies. Su Xing saw Qingzi's stunned appearance and fake coughed. There's a difference. Games can be treated as the star duels, the participants, star generals. Since Maiden Mountain has arranged for the stars to fight, then naturally there will be one equilibrium theory, and with the current Song Jiang, Qingzi must also know that the leader star is very incompetent, unable to compare to even an earthly star. Seeing Qingzi mechanically nod, Su Xing continued to say, then, it goes without saying, the difference in Song Jiang could only have one reason. What reason? Qingzi found she could not keep up with Su Xing's line of thought. This is that she is an important factor of the star duels. This factor's existence caused the head of the 108-star maiden Song Jiang's capabilities to be substantially impaired. This is the law of equilibrium. 2. Before they could even retort, Su Xing spoke again. There is another important reason that I have these thoughts regarding Song Jiang's difference. Qingzi's eyes were full of confusion. Song Jiang signing a contract will expose her position to all star generals, and her starfall will be a sky full of glittering stars. Why don't the other star generals have this treatment? Is it only because she is the first ranked? I don't think so. It must be because of this hidden law of equilibrium. Maiden Mountain would only do this if it was planning something. So I think Song Jiang is very important to the star duels. Su Xing concluded his speech. Lin Yingmei, Qingzi and Li Longkue were already dumb as wooden chickens, petrified. Young master, what are you saying? Lin Yingmei sobered up, feeling as if she had listened to something obscure. Su Xing's theory truly made Lin Yingmei feel shocked and impressed. And only people who cared about the star duels would pay attention to this kind of detail, right? The corner of Lin Yingmei's lips rose, and her heart brimmed with warmth. Extravagant words, a glib tongue. Li Longkue closed her mouth, unwilling to allow herself to feel any admiration for this man, even in death. Qingzi was pensive, bewildered as she looked indefinitely at Su Xing. Young lord's thoughts truly makes my daughter impressed. Qingzi has never thought of this aspect in this way. Qingzi noticed that the body of the man before her seemed to have a mysterious, impenetrable, But has young Lord not thought that perhaps Maiden Mountains 108 will just have an incompetent leader star that allows earthly star sisters to kill and take her star energy? Qingxi's conjecture was not without logic. Leader star Song Jiang's star energy was unmatched. If an earthly star killed her, she could substantially increase star energy to heavenly star levels. Her realm and martial arts can also improve, so the past Song Jiangs have always been the appetizers for earthly stars. Perhaps this is what timely rain means. Qingxi's smile was a bit sad. I've thought of this before. Su Xing conceded, but after seeing little sister Qingxi's uprising, I suddenly recalled that Song Jiang has another title called Protector of Righteousness. Qingxi was taken aback, her smile like a summer flower. Does young lord believe that Qingxi is Song Jiang? Are you Qingxi? Su Xing asked back. If your servant truly is Song Jiang, then would that not be somewhat strange? Why would the previous Song Jiang not have heard of the uprising? Qingxi slightly smiled. It was precisely this point that Su Xing was unable to make sense of. Regardless whether you are Song Jiang or not, Qingxi, your servant will treat you as his own little sister. This does not matter. Su Xing disapproved. Then many thanks for Lord Su's concern. Qingxi was neither forceful nor placant. It appeared she did not want to probe further about the Song Jiang topic. She wanted to end this conversation. Su Xing's eyes turned, and he smiled. Qingxi, do you want to solve the mystery of the star duels? Lord Su is somewhat strange tonight. Is it because of that tune? Qingxi wrinkled her brow. Su Xing flipped out the birth treasure outline. He advanced steadily towards Qingxi. That golden book flipped, radiating golden light, but this book that purportedly knew all information about a star general nevertheless showed no response towards Qingxi. Seeing the beauty was somewhat irritated, Su Xing said, your servant heard Xinjie mention before that the 4 birth treasure outlines of the 4 territories conceal all the mysteries of the star duels. So long as the 4 books are pieced together, one can know all secrets of the star duels. But Qingxi knows as well that because the past star masters were incompatible as fire and water, the 4 birth treasure outlines could not possibly combine. So I wish to invite Qingxi to help me, to see whether or not the birth treasure outlines can combine. Is this also Lord Su's equilibrium? Everything must have a reason to exist. An extremely unlikely possibility is still a possibility, isn't it? Su Xing said. Qingxi, could it be you don't want to know the secret of the star duels? Perhaps we can see something with 2 birth treasure outlines. Why should we believe the words of a man with a silver tongue? Li Longkue glowered. Su Xing extended his hand, directly floating the birth treasure outline to Qingxi. Something like an astral treasure that relied on divine intent control did not need refinement. At this moment, so long as Qingxi willed it, she could reach out and be able to steal this book. Su Xing was precisely using this method to express his trust for her. Young Lord Su's methods truly are formidable. Qingxi wants to decline but will appear to be a heartless person. Qingxi forced a smile. This is serious. My wives are indebted to profound love, and I only want to help them satisfy their wish to end the star duels. Su Xing slightly sighed. Qingxi kept silent and flipped out her birth treasure outline. Su Xing's eyes flashed with a strange glint. Su Xing's words were stuck in the middle of Qingxi's mind. Because Qingxi's wish was to end the star duels, she desired more than anyone else did a reason for the star duel's existence. Su Xing's conjecture about the 4 birth treasure outline was merely a means, but Qingxi did not doubt him. Seeing Su Xing already bring out his birth treasure outline, she also prepared to do the same. Li Longkue grunted to stop her. She still maintained absolute hostility towards Su Xing's glib tongue, his flowery words. Qingxi shook her head. Perhaps she felt Su Xing was worth her trust, or perhaps due to the sight of the sisters following Su Xing so dearly, or perhaps for some other reason. In short, Qingxi gestured with her hand to summon the birth treasure outline. The 2 books of golden characters hovered, orbiting each other like stars. Golden light twinkled, and the book pages flipped rapidly though there was no wind. After a moment, there were no changes at all. Qingxi was somewhat disappointed and recalled the treasure outline. Looks like we may need all 4 in order to work. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. Qingxi shook her head. This is perhaps a mission impossible to achieve. The Black Turtle Territory's birth treasure outline is with the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, and the White Tiger Territories has already disappeared. Xinjie mentioned that the White Tiger Territories book is in the hands of a star master named Han Bing. Her star general is heaven-shaking Thunder Ling Zhen. Lin Yingmei said. Qingxi showed a grateful smile. However, she still felt that this complete set of 4 birth treasure outlines was not too likely. The two chatted for a while longer, and then seeing that the day was already late, they departed. Su Xing kept watching that picturesque back until it disappeared. Only then did he put away his ponderings. Young lord, she has already left. Lin Yingmei pursed her lips. Yingmei, she's Song Jiang as I expected. Su Xing expressionlessly said. Lin Yingmei was startled. She blinked at Su Xing. Your servant also feels that this Qingxi is different from the rest, but the past Song Jiang have never had uprising. Su Xing smiled and shook his head. He pointed with his hand, and the birth treasure outline flew in front of them. The pages fluttered until it reached the first page. He looked at this page in deep contemplation. Lin Yingmei walked forward and looked. Immediately, the majestic star was shocked. A row of golden characters had already appeared on that first page. This is, Lin Yingmei shuddered. Everything is truly miserable because our successor assassin star generals were all killed first as a priority by tacit understanding. Xuanla Feifei slowly walked about the Crystal Palace. Her hands held up several scrolls that she had just bought from a store. This treasure banquet was fine, for Xuanla Feifei very easily understood the rough knowledge regarding the star duels after the 4th generation. Mu Wuyu wanted to know who else could ascend after them assassins, but they had taken one look only to discover that because Xuanla Feifei's 3rd watch assassinations were universally shocking, unblockable, by the time the 7 Stars assembly began, there already was not a single trace of an assassin left. Afterwards, there was never again any assassin star general that could ascend. These star masters were honestly dirty. Mu Huiyu gloomily hung her face. Although she knew that the later star duels had nothing to do with them, to know that the sisters that held the same ranks they did had fallen to such a degree, any star general would feel anger. Are the star duels not dirty? Mu Wuyu dully agreed. Mu Huiyu remained silent. Shall we find this generation's assassins, help out our down-and-out sisters? Fairy Xuanla pondered. Although she was a trace of true spirit, she had her own consciousness to do as she pleased. Though her time was not long, it was enough to do some things that, so long as they did not disturb this generation's star duels and that Chao Gai, she believed Maiden Mountain would not object. The Mu Huiyu and Mu Wuyu sisters undoubtedly approved. Regarding their so-called trial, they completely disregarded Su Xing, putting him neither in their eyes nor on their mind. Rather than go do this sort of boring assignment, it was better to help this generation's assassins to ascend Maiden Mountain and wash away the disgrace of Investigative Star Unrestrained and Guardian Star Little Restrained. This was a trip well worthwhile. Fairy Xuanla slightly smiled. Just as she debated how to go about this, suddenly, she heard the leisurely sounds of a flute and melodious qin. The two kinds of instruments were in perfect harmony. The song never stopped, and it was captivating. Fairy Xuanla closed her eyes to listen. She had been born in Heavenly Sound Valley and was inherently quite skilled with music. Her own flying swords were the Crown Prince Long Qin Heavenly Sound Swords. Listening, she felt that the qin and flute combination brimmed with elegance, ease, and remote heroism. Those like Xuanla Feifei who had passed through the cruel star duels and ascended felt particularly intense, and even the Mu sisters were moved. Xuanla Feifei seemed to recall that scene as if it had happened just yesterday, especially when she brazenly picked a fight with the alliance of majestic star Lin Chong and Wu Song, making a narrow escape. In that battle, both Mu sisters were sent back into the star nest, and Xuanla Feifei was hard-pressed into nearly starfalling. But in the end, she still emerged victorious and in that battle laid the path for herself to become overlord. Unknowingly, Xuanla Feifei's eyes had become wet. Only after the flute and qin music ended did she recover her composure. It seems a pair of star cultivators acting as a couple has appeared in this generation. Xuanla Feifei heard the tacit understanding and ambition in the player's harmony. Her lips curled, carrying a slight sorrow. However, what use is that? In the end, only one can live to be overlord, to ascend, correct, fairy. Huiyu and Wuyu showed concern. Fairy Xuanla smiled, hinting to them that they did not need to worry. She originally wanted to see the combination of that couple, but it now seemed she would never find them. The ancient flower's fall can increase aroma, wind and rain completely blow hate away, yet it hides away passion. Back and forth who pities the fallen flower, ask the gentleman to collaborate to the end of the world, see not the gentleman's answer. In the drawn-out night, the gentle song echoed, carrying an unshakable melancholy. Chai Ling came to the Crystal Dragon Palace on the second day of the treasure banquet. The Great Circle Castle's power naturally did not need explaining. The Crystal Dragon Palace specially arranged for a lone, noble star palace, for the Great Circle Castle's noble star. This noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Ling nevertheless was extremely low profile. There was no ceremony, and other than Jinji and Yuye, there were now an additional 2 women beside her. Kong Ho and a girl who, at first glance, appeared a bit ditzy. Duang, do you actually want to go? Chai Ling stroked Xinger, gently asking as she raised her brows. That girl clad in black skin-tight clothes had a black panther laying at her feet. She was Guardian Star Little Restrained Mu Duang. Many thanks for Elder Sister's concern. This time, I will definitely kill Elder Sister. Mu Duang clenched her fist and swore. Suddenly she felt this sentence was phrased a bit wrongly, and she immediately waved her hands to clear things up. Duang does not want to kill Elder Sister, but Duang is too eager to kill Elder Sister, and said it like this. Wait, no, Aya. Chai Ling was speechless. Ever since she saved the Guardian Star, she knew that the assassin in front of her was quite imbecile tier. She truly was very worried whether that Mu Duang would get lost just by walking could truly accomplish what she wanted. Seeing Mu Duang was flustered, Chai Ling sweetly smiled. This palace knows. The one you want to kill is Investigative Star Unrestrained Mu Hong. This palace has already heard you mention it numerous times. Duang definitely will surpass Elder Sister. Mu Duang was resolute. Chai Ling wanted very much to laugh. She truly did not understand just where the confidence of this little sister came from. She was obviously an earthly star assassin, but she unexpectedly wanted to challenge a heavenly star assassin. Furthermore, she did not have a contract. Truly, she had overinflated guts. Your chances of victory are but very low. Even if you lose your life, have you planned for this? Chai Ling seriously asked. She was unable to interfere in a star duel and could only cheer from the sidelines. Yes, and Duang has already promised someone else that I would achieve it. Duang will go do this even if I lose my life. Mu Duang was earnest. You unexpectedly would believe in an idiot star master's words. Chai Ling knew that Mu Duang would do this because she met with the assistance of a star master in Evil Smiting Hall while capturing her star beast. She swore an oath to that man, and the result was that Chai Ling could not dissuade her no matter what. In the future, she would have Su Xing go mercilessly teach that man a lesson. 3. He is no idiot, he treated Duang very well. Mu Duang stuck out her lip, somewhat unhappy. Chai Ling smiled wryly, then good. Do your best. Although this palace cannot interfere in the star duels, she can help you prepare several things to save your life. If you cannot defeat her, then flee. Yuya stepped forward and produced a treasure box. There were 2 purple talismans on it. Mu Duang blinked. This talisman is a supreme grade Bagua Temple in Heaven talisman, and this is a Seeking Heaven talisman. 5. If you encounter danger, then open the box and use the 2 talismans. It can temporarily preserve your life. Chai Ling said. The noble star carried an air of queenly dignity, not accepting any refusal. Thank you, elder sister. Mu Duang was somewhat embarrassed. Take care of yourself. If you want to find a star master, this palace can introduce you. He but has Wu Song. Chai Ling opened her golden thread feather fan with a kind of sly smile. No way. If I sign a contract, I would be the same as elder sister. Mu Duang giggled. Then she waved her hand and quickly departed. The in-room Black Panther became a dark shadow and slinked away. Chai Ling actually was somewhat fond of this dumb, little assassin. Those two talismans, one opens the temple in Heaven's Bagua, and the other transmits the user's whereabouts. Chai Ling, are you planning to help Su Xing receive the little sister? Kong Ho said. Chai Ling did not answer. Milady, a woman named Qingxi requests an audience. She says that she has something important related to the star duels she would like to discuss with you. Jinji said. Qingxi, a sister? Chai Ling nodded. Regarding the visit of any sister, the noble star treated everyone equally and would not decline them. A moment later, a picturesque woman daintily walked forth. Her aromatic scent wafted, filling the cart. Even Chai Ling was taken aback. Her gaze concentrated, and she extended a hand to pet Xinger, lowering her brow in deep thought. Little sister Chai Ling, I trust you have been well. Qingxi was very refined. Before her, Chai Ling found that her own noble star queenly aura had ceased to exist. Qingxi clearly was very elegant, her every smile and frown, her every word and gesture giving Chai Ling pressure. You are. Qingxi showed a tender smile. Her hands suddenly brought out a banner. The banner depicted myriad stars descending into a starry river. The palace brightened up. Qingxi shook the flag, and a resplendent light flashed, as illusory as if a star general had emerged from a star master's star nest. But the bangs over Qingxi's spotlessly white forehead parted, and an absolutely beautiful star crest manifested. Chai Ling's gracefulness disappeared, and she thoroughly lost herself. Impossible, you are leader star timely rain song Jiang. Qingxi is leader star timely rain song Jiang. This means her true name is Song Qingxi. All of the girls were in disbelief after hearing Su Xing's words. Su Xing nodded. Is this true? Although the uprising is indeed strange, the past Song Jiangs have never gathered such a thing. Hua Wanyue was unconvinced. I do not believe this generation's Song Jiang can change the rules. It is true. Your servant saw young master's birth treasure outline. On it is Qingxi's record. Lin Yingmei was serious. All of the girls looked at Su Xing in astonishment. Su Xing did not say anything. He directly flipped out the birth treasure outline and showed the first page. They are tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.